What's up?
Hey, gents.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hello,
What's
hello.
up, boys?
Got Piston Twisted in the house. Finally back on YouTube. He
Good
took
to
a
see
longer break
everybody.
than I did.
Somebody's
We
got
got Wasted Talent Fabrications, Mr. Paul Bunyan in the house.
I don't wear flannel.
Growing
Yeah.
a great beard there.
Yet, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait till it starts to get cold up there in
Yeah, the
Oregon.
cold
right?
weather's coming, brother.
So that's what
Well,
this
mongrels,
is
I think the big question is, when are you going to grow the beard? Because 3 out of 4 people on this panel say they're awesome.
Yeah, well, I was growing it, and I just shaved it off, so it's
Just for the show.
Good excuse. Good
yeah.
Quitters.
I need to have that clean shaven look. It makes me look at least 2 to 3 months younger.
No, it doesn't.
Well, and that brings to the last person here on the panel, Mongrel's Garage.
Hey, everyone.
Which I'd like to say is freshly above 500 subscribers.
Very
Congrats,
fresh.
brother.
Almost at 600 now.
I start
Getting
rolling
it.
once they start coming.
Hey, I am happy to say that pretty much everybody from the Volvo build, and I'm not just saying that, but definitely the Volvo build, everybody that was there was so cool and awesome, and I'm glad to see their channels growing.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys saw another episode up today. I put up for day 3 and 4.
I definitely seen it.
I watched it. Yes,
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I tried to keep it because Eric's already doing such a good job of doing like the overall ones. I thought making another video with everything was probably not the best way to go. So I really appreciate all you guys for being freaking camera guys, mongrels especially. There was a lot of footage that I totally was like, and thank
We
you.
were
Mongrels."
kind of bad YouTubers.
Well, and
Fair
Dukes and
enough.
I've talked about this a lot. We were better car builders than YouTubers, and at the end of the day, I'm glad because
We
the car
built the
ran.
hell out of that car.
Yeah, we just didn't feel, and you can tell when it was day 1 and everything was happy and everything was going well. We filmed a ton; it was awesome. And then, as stuff hit the fan, the cameras got left down and the wrenches got picked up.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, we're not going to get this finished.
Or in
do
your
that.
case today, the hammer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love the hammer. I still have.
Oh yeah. There's some spots of that where you were just doing your thing.
Oh, I'm sure I'm beating the hell out of everything with a
Oh,
hammer.
he was totally, hey, I want to hammer this, and you're like, hey, you're wasting your time. You're like, no, I'm doing it, man.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
sometimes I'm a little slow.
Listen,
I've got
had
that
the
old
hammer
army
right there.
mentality. Let's just get it.
I let you bang on it for a while.
Wasted
It
was
probably
giving
needed a little
everyone
bit
a
of
hard
banging
time
anyway,
in that
right?
video.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I keep
Well,
hearing this
picking on
voice
you.
that I know. I keep hearing that voice, but the face doesn't match it.
Well, that is the trick. I have been behind the camera for a bunch and hiding. I am working on footage. In fact, I just came from working on a project and footage and all of that over there. I bought a wrecked toy a while back on an impulse buy. It was a deal I couldn't pass up.
Are you going to keep us in suspense?
Well, I haven't really shown or told anybody about it, but I mean, hey, listen, if you become a supporting member of my Ponzi scheme, what do we call it, Cletus? The pyramid scheme.
Pyramid schemes.
You get behind the scenes peeks for these types of things. But no, so I bought a 2010 what is it? No, 2020. It's a 2020 Maverick X3 DSR.
4-seater or 2-seater?
4-seater, so it's the max turbo, 900 cc turbo, Rotax
$30,000.
motor. Not when they're totaled, they're not.
Oh,
Yeah, listen, they're only about 15 grand when they're totaled.
So 318 small block.
Oh no, it runs fine. It was 2 bars. That's what I was finishing. I cut the 2 bars out of the frame. So the deal was it comes with a new frame. That was the story with it. 15 grand new frame. It tweaks. You got to do work. Blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I can't pass this up. I think I had 16 hours on it, 230 miles. Yeah.
And totaled?
Yep, sat in the back of the garage and just sat there as he ordered parts. Like he gave me everything. I've been putting it back together. But I think the real problem was Mama was in the passenger seat when it got hit, and that's where all of the hit got taken.
so she's like, "Yeah, I'm done."
I feel so. It took 2 years before he finally sold it. So it was one of those. I think he was going to fix it. I'm gonna fix it. And mom was like, I ain't ever riding on that. You ain't going again, type of deals. But either way, I caught it on the old interweb and was like, I shot up 2 hours to the dunes and picked it up.
Hey man, when you see those deals, you jump on them, right?
Yep.
Well, don't LS swap it. I know you're getting the urge already. Don't do it.
Nope. It is. So my dad has the 900 and 1000 non-turbo Razor versions, and they're fun. But the power on this thing is on a whole nother level. Like when I got into it, I was like, oh, we messed up. I'm like, no one else is allowed to drive this thing. I shouldn't even be allowed to.
You don't have a work bed though, so you ain't gonna be doing none of that hard work.
You know,
Guess you gotta get you a trailer, huh?
I mean, that thing's just for putting around. I think we're gonna. Well, that's the thing. I'm a dozer channel now, so I don't know where that's
That a water bomber channel.
Yeah,
Yo,
a
seriously.
little bit wet. A little bit wet.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
That was a cool vid. That really was.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch all your shorts, man. You have been shorts.
Dude, if you can watch all of my shorts, I commend you because I drop 5 every single day, and at least, well, very, very rarely do all 5 of them get to stay around.
I don't watch all of them, but I try to. I at least watch 2 a day for sure.
Yeah. No, I
try to support everybody. I don't always comment because I'm usually on my TV. It'll be playing in the background or something.
Yeah.
Mongrel's last video, I don't even think I commented on that. But
I
try to watch everybody's stuff. It's a lot of content out there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm the worst for that. I try to respond to everyone, but that in itself is its own thing. And I'm busy now that I retired.
Yeah. Well, especially up there with no internet, right?
Before. Well, it's all on my phone. Everything's on my phone. So right now we are plugged into the phone, into the computer, into the Hell yeah.
Well, it's funny because
lumberjack
you brought up the
content.
last video, and High Spider Garage, Bryce did comment on it, but it was funny because he's commenting. I could tell he's watching, and then he comment, then he watch some more and leave another comment. There's a couple.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually not subscribed over to him either. I don't know if when he changed the name or whatever happened, but he hit me up, or he said something, so I clicked on it, and I was like, "Oh, Bryce," because I knew he'd changed the name, and I was like, "Why am I not subscribed?" So I had to do that again.
You catch up on the Frankenstein build.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Big Block, I see you in the chat, bud. You want to put is Outfits Garage link in there, bud? And I'll pin it to the top. So Outfits Garage is another Harkans in here, and he's trying to get to 500 subscribers for the No Name Nationals.
That is getting close, man. You still going? You still bringing that car?
Yeah. Now, so since I haven't done anything with it, I have decided I'm just going to put it on a trailer and bring it.
You don't trust it, huh?
I trust the build. I do. I don't trust the 1996 wagon that was sitting in the field for 6 years.
You're not
as far
wrong.
as the build quality,
You're
I'm
not wrong.
telling you, I've looked it over. It's good. Like, it's great. We did a hell of a job.
I don't know. I've been editing the footage, and I'm like, oof. I forgot about that harmonica though. I was editing the footage, and I saw the point where I found it, and somebody was like waved me off, like shut the fuck up, and I was like, oh, and you said something. I was like, oh no, it was this oil cooler over here that I was talking about. Who zip tied the oil cooler line to the sway bar is what I went with, because I totally had found the thing and was told to shut the fuck up, Donnie.
That
Over the line.
I still don't know who put that on there.
I don't for sure know who put it on there. I know who told me to shut up.
Yeah.
Which could possibly be that person, but I ain't no snitch.
You're not a snitch, huh?
I ain't no snitch. You ain't getting that out of me. Listen.
The other good thing is I see Dudes has got some long form videos coming out, and they're getting good views on them.
Yeah,
so
and they are getting some traction. I'm telling him to feed the fire, feed the beast.
Oh,
in fact,
absolutely.
where the fuck is Dudes?
he's probably busy putting up content.
Well, I have a text from him right here.
Probably got like the fan base sitting outside his door
my
trying to fend
Yeah,
them off.
sign my fender.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So the link that is pinned, guys, is Outfits Garage. Got to help these Arkansas boys out. We're a little slow around here.
Oh, I'm going to go down there and take a look.
Yeah, you know, Big Block did a live with them last night, so
Yep.
go check that out. Give them some watches.
He's editing a video. Well, listen, only
Oh.
like way more people watch your videos than watch ours. So get in.
Look at this truck driver right here.
Outfits, you're at 417 now, my friend.
He's at Rockabilly, huh?
Oh, Rockabilly. Yeah. Rockabilly. Did you ever decide if you're going to be able to go to the No Name Nationals, bud? I know he just started a new truck driver job. So have y'all been following him on social media?
I haven't had a chance to follow anyone, man. I am running around like.
Well, that's because you're turning into Paul Bunyan. But
listen, you know how much it takes to like concentrate on growing this awesomeness.
Yes, it's a full-time job.
Seriously, I mean, I don't. I see why you
shaved all mine off. So
well, you had to because you couldn't handle the pressure of it. I get it.
Well, I mean, he probably had every single Amish person that heard about it knocking on the door saying, "You're either one of us or you're not."
Yeah,
yeah.
They jumped you in.
I some reason thought it would be cooler. I was like, I'm going to shave this off, and everybody's going to think I'm a whole new person coming in. Everybody's like, "Hey, you shaved your beard off." I'm like,
yeah. You really should have done more like me, where all of a sudden you show up and everyone's like, "Who are you?"
Right, that's what I was thinking was going to happen, right?
That's been the best part about moving back.
Pretty good sized beard.
Oh yeah,
it was going.
I shaved it all the way off, like smooth.
All right, I have to deal with some things.
Yeah, we discussed that Brace, but no.
Okay, Rockabilly trying to get on there. That's cool.
If you go watch my C10 video, you'll see me with a beard. I have a beard in that.
No comments. No comments.
So Clint here is my brother, and he went to Arizona with me. I met Mr. I Spider Garage.
Yeah, I wanted to trip down there and meet Bryce as well. I mean, I was check out that Frankenstein build.
Yeah, maybe you could steal it. I tried to steal it, but I got caught.
Oh, those Fords are pretty easy to steal.
I did a short like that. I'm like, how are you going to steal this? And then anyway, it was dumb, but it got pretty good views. So. But no, it was a great time down there.
It strikes me as the kind of guy not to steal from.
Bryce, yeah, I wouldn't recommend stealing anything in Arizona, especially from Bryce. He's pretty damn tall. I think him and Just Mopar Joe are about the same height. Oh no, actually, I think he might be taller than Just Mopar Joe.
Joe's pretty tall too, yeah.
Not that we're comparing, but
both excellent people, by the way. And if you haven't checked out their channels, go check those channels out, folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That nice people comment, I got to second that because they are just all around awesome. Very, very.
Also, when you're there, Mongrels, you have to go see Destroyer 1320.
Destroyer, yeah.
They live, I Spider Garage or Bryce and Destroyer 1320 live about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic, from each other. So
really? Okay, nice.
You got to get the two of them together.
Well, there's a good chance I'll go down there because my dad lives in Arizona, so he's up in Prescott, whatever you want to call it. So that's about, I think that's 2.5 hours from Bryce and
they're in the, I'm not going to give their cities away, but they're in the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
So they should definitely, I'm like, how do y'all live this close and not do something?
Oh,
so hopefully we'll get them two together. Boy, that'd be awesome.
Hey, Rockabilly Customs, this is just a quick shout out as well. I really love this stuff. I've been subscribed for a while there. The downside is that if you search for him, you come across bad chat from where I'm around, and or we'll go this way. Anyway, me, like, if the hat and the beard and the music and everything else that I have, don't give it away. I love the Rockabilly side of the house, and it's wicked because it's a different take on things. It's really the whole. I'll put it this way: when I go to car shows and I see people who paid $65,000 or $70,000 for something that's supposed to look like it's a rat rod, they've missed the point. You wanted somebody who's really genuine with that whole kind of build and really getting their hands dirty with it and making things work. Check out that channel because that is some really cool stuff.
Well, I will tell you, I like hot rods and old cars, sweet, just where you can see all this money put into these vehicles and all that. But I don't know. I'm kind of digging these shit boxes. I mean,
it's true.
We all know
it's how they were.
I think.
Well, I mean,
the
rat
flight
rods
changed a little bit
of their time. I mean,
the flight changed a little bit. Big Block. I'll get back to you on that.
it's how you made them, right? Like you had a frame from a 32 something and a cab that was from a 34, and the doors, they just happen to have the same hinges in 33, and you found them and you made them work. And that was your pride and joy. You didn't have the kind of money to roll into a gorgeous hot rod with a paint job. So it became its own subculture. And it's the American or North American version of the rockers and the cafe racers from the UK. It's just this really cool movement and that subculture, and it's coming back, and it's really cool to see a channel that does it that way without the way that Bad Chad does things.
Well, I'm still waiting on Rockability to get into that S10, but I might be the only one. I'm just a big square body S10 fan.
Hey, everyone's got their faults.
Oh, okay.
Mine's Triumph, man. Mine, you know, I'm a sucker for the British bikes.
You said you watched the last video, Cletus, the car show one, did you?
Let me think. The car show one. I thought it was something else for some reason.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I just put up a car show one, but there's a nice Cougar in there. That
I might not have seen that one. Then. What was the one you did before that?
Oh, geez, I've been pumping them up pretty quick. I don't remember.
Yeah. No, this one was you worked on an old car, something like that.
It might have been the Hemi engine that I took the.
That's what it was. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, where you took the head off and everything. Yeah, that's what it was. That's the last one I watched, though. I guess.
So is there
see?
AC?
Look, y'all say his name enough, he'll show up too.
Oh, there he is. Yep, look at that.
There's Tim. Man, you got some high quality people on this channel. I can't speak too much to
Roadkill.
Buzz is in.
You're wearing his.
Hey, Buzz. There's another awesome channel. Go check.
I'm
Buzz
telling
out.
you,
Man, that guy has done a whole bunch of work for getting people to 500. And it's greatly appreciated.
Did I just say how much I missed all you guys? Holy crap! This is a blast.
Well, I am freaking glad that you're back here, man. Hey, are you going to make it down for non-am nationals? It's kind of close
year,
now.
friend. Not this year. No.
Yeah, it's you know, now that you got everything cleared up, it's kind of last minute for you, but
well, we're getting things cleared up, right? And that's it. This next year is really going to be a bit more of still the slow kind of making sure that. Well, do you mind if I throw the cat out of the bag here?
Do it.
All right. So without taking up too much time, so long story short, I'm being given an early retirement from the military. So that's why I've been kind of absent for the last couple of months. That news came suddenly and unexpected. And so before I started making any rash decisions or doing anything, really, I have to sit down with the missus, figure things out, the way that we're going forward. So the good news from that is Piston Twisted is definitely still going to be around. Within about the next year, I'm going to have, I like how Cletus said it before the show, I'm going to have a lot of time to YouTube. I might even have time to do some shorts. But the goal is going to be to push the garage and focus now, instead of just generally on classics as a whole, not turning my back on anything with four wheels, but focusing more on two wheels. The video I started making tonight is how to overhaul the old Solex carburetor. It's a wicked carb to start out with, and it's still focusing on the beginner, the DIY beginner, the people who want to get into it. Basically, you guys all have the four wheels covered very well, and I think the two wheels are missing, so I'll take that one for the team. But that's it in a nutshell.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, we look forward to it, man. I'm glad you're back, and you know, I guess you're going to be retiring from the military as well. So now you'll join the wasted crew there.
Yeah, it'll be a good club, right?
Hey,
I gotta
listen, I'm
class it up a
telling you,
bit.
I'm pretty good at. No, I'm actually terrible at retirement. I work my ass off. I'm doing it all wrong.
I can see that. I was going to say bullshit. You called it on yourself. So
I mean,
I think you're working working more now than you were before, because you were on a live every night talking about, well, I guess I'll go sit at work.
All of my projects were not here for me to work, or were not there for me to work on. Now I have all of mine, and then all of everybody else's. At one point, we were down to, I think, I had one excavator that was up. So one excavator was down, the dozer was down, the loader was down, the dump truck was down, everything was down. And I'm like, well, I want to work on my toys, but I have to fix all these damn toys, all these, my little earth moving crew. So yeah, my channel is going to be a lot of repairing medium equipment. It's not really heavy.
Well, until we all get together there and get some kind of shit van and beat the hell out of it.
I'm telling you, I am so down for that. After
I
getting
I
out
hope
and
you're putting
riding,
it on, right?
that
was the plan.
Am I supposed to be in charge of this?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what you told everybody there.
No, that part doesn't sound familiar. Me being in charge, me saying this is a great idea, and scumbagging somebody else into being in charge of it, and then just showing up and being a part of it, and then kind of running it because that's what happens. This is what I do. That sounds more like something I said, but me actually
and
running
then you're
it,
like, well, I'll do it this time. We'll do it here.
well, that's what I meant.
remember.
We can do it here. Just I wasn't
Hey,
going
I'm
to be
down for that. That's a much shorter drive for me. That's like 12 hours instead of 30. So
Yeah.
So
I got nothing. I was just going to give you grief over being retired and you got all the time in the world, but no.
Yeah, well, it's one of those. I still get a lot done, but I do it when I want to, and if I don't want to, I don't do it, and that's made my stress level and everything pretty.
what is up, dudes with wrenches?
Editing.
How's that working out for you?
Long, tedious, hard work.
All right.
Hard work?
Are you editing for your short empire or your short video empire that you're expanding into?
I've done my long format for tomorrow, so that's done.
Oh, so you're on the short time.
Yeah.
Well, now that you have grown your channel, all the new videos you put out should get more views in theory. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why all the old videos are becoming new videos again.
Smart.
well, and I mentioned this earlier, but since you're here, congratulations on getting some of that long form, getting some views on it.
Yeah, that's some
That's
good stuff,
awesome,
man.
How far away are you on the old hours to monetization there, bud?
1 second. I can tell you. I like how you can hear the chirping in the background wherever that's coming from.
Oh, that's my place. I got the garage door open. Is it bugging you guys?
No, yes, that question is the perfect background effect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Cricket.
it could be.
Well, while you're looking all that up, Destroyer. Well, he's walking away now. Destroyer, what's up, bud? He's on mute. Yeah, he'll be back.
Just getting done with work, man. Holy crap. What a busy day.
Hey, Destroyer, pop the hat off for a minute. Let's see how you're doing up there.
Not bad.
Coming back. It's coming back.
It's on its way. It could get messy again.
Hey, now we got to raise money for Wasted to shave his head.
Ain't happening.
Oh,
Everything's got a price tag.
Do you know when the last time was I cut my hair was New Year's Eve? I mean, I got to keep that going for like a while.
Like a year and a half.
Hey, we just got to get him on another build lying under the car doing some welding. It'll take care of
burn
itself.
Well, no, it's nice now when I do that, my neck doesn't get burned. I just smell burnt hair.
yeah, you just lose a couple of hairs here. You're
Dude,
good.
I was welding the cage on the tubes I was putting in today. I caught one in the ear hole. God, those are the worst.
No, those are the bad ones.
Oh.
Yeah, those suck.
Because you can hear it burning as it's doing it. It's not okay.
No.
Yeah, it was one of those where I went to cut it up. Like, so it's a running driving vehicle, and I've been driving it for like 2 weeks and loving it. And I'm like, okay, I really need to fix this, or I'm never gonna fix it, type of deal. And as soon as I went to cut it open, I was just like, and you've just ruined this toy. If I don't put this back together right, it may never. What have I done? Oh man.
So when I was in Arizona, I got to see, and I should have took some more video, but it wasn't working out for me so well. But I got to see old Stanky. I think.
Yes,
cool.
you did. It was
Of course,
a
I got
little
to see
late.
the Terminator as well. But
Yeah, those are some pretty cool pictures. I mean, I was following from a distance. Now it was cool seeing you guys, but the car is nice. Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
there, bud.
it's got its own bank account.
I couldn't believe
As they need. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Card on it.
But have you gotten to the point where you're dumping the boxes and bad parts off of that toy onto the old toy you were going to work on that's just sitting there watching you work on your new toy now? Because that's what I have going on in my world.
No,
Destroyer got all new stuff now. What are you talking about? Got
Yeah.
a new truck.
Well, you had the golf cart.
Yeah.
Now I did save the little 5-gallon cell. I saved that. I may put that in old Stanky.
That'd be cool.
And it's going to cool off where I can actually go outside and even touch it without burning my hand. So that'll be nice to play with that again soon. And I still have a nitrous kit sitting. I just have to put it in.
Well, what are you pushing out that thing right now?
The golf cart is what I'm talking about putting nitrous on. No, this doesn't need it. This is
Well, okay. All right,
plenty for me right now. No. I got a little nitrous bottle for the golf cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
This no. No, this is a little over 7 minutes in change.
Yeah.
100 horse.
And torque?
No clue.
Enough.
No idea.
Yeah.
Enough. It's a 451 stroker, 13.5 to 1 compression, 1000 CFM Dominator.
Oh god, you got torque for days.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to the guy who used to race it, and he said, just bring some Depends, because if you've never done a wheelie, you're going to shit your pants.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
You're gonna put it doesn't have a wheelie bar on the back yet, does it?
No, I'm going to
You think
see
it'll
if it's. I don't know, because it's a super stock car. I mean, it's built to do super stock things. Where if you watch the older ones like that, it kind of bounces the front up, like a foot or so, not even 6 inches to a foot, comes back down, and you go. I would love that. If it gets any more violent than
Fast
that,
and Furious driver.
no, not at all.
Because I mean that's my old bread and butter, right? So I'm just a little bit curious because I'm not saying if I come down I'm going to ask to go for a ride. That's never going to happen. Don't worry, I'm never going to ask. But I might be beside you saying, "Come on, let's see what it can do."
Oh, I'm
what we
so
should
ready
do
to take it out.
is we should line up yours versus Spider or Bryce's vehicle there. But we should make it more fair, so it should be old Stanky versus the Frankenstein.
There we go with the nitrous kit.
Hey, you
There
guys
you
must
go,
have
yeah.
a track that you can do bracket racing at. You got
Until
Friday night
April,
bracket
yes.
racing or something like that.
Yeah. I just got my belts today, so those will be legal. The biggest thing is passing tech. I don't want to have a video. I'm all excited. I'm ready. I go down there and my belts are expired, or my seat's not welded in correctly, or the cage isn't certified. I mean, I'm getting all that little stuff done before I go and make an ass of myself.
It's a pain in the ass too, right? Because you got to check it every season. Every season you got to see what they've changed and make sure that you're up to speed on it. And it could be the simplest little thing, right?
Yeah. Well, and then I put jet extenders. I rejet the carburetor and put jet extenders in the back. So if it does pop a wheelie at all, I don't lose fuel. The issue is Captain, that's not tight enough. Gave it a little too much and
Went from tighty to loosey.
yeah, twisted the end of the fuel log there. So that's on my list. Let's take it out of the bag. I haven't even taken it out of the bag yet. Like I said, I've been working.
Well, that's the beauty of bracket racing, Bryce, is you can still win. Nice.
Well, I'll tell you, learning some on the Volvo build, when we get to No-Name Nationals, I'm not working on anything. I'm probably not racing anybody or didn't. I'm going to sit back and just hang out with everybody because it was a great time, but that's the one thing I wish we would have done more is hang out because we were balls to the wall the whole time.
Well, I think we'll have a lot of time not a lot, but we'll have a lot more to socialize because even if you did race, how many runs are you going to get in when you got however many people there, right?
They're talking about running that shit. There's no curfew out there, apparently. They're talking about running as late as it runs.
So,
but we're going to have a little compound set up. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a lot of
I'm not
bullshit.
I'm not bringing the 40-foot trailer anymore.
All right. Well, where am I supposed to sleep butt naked now?
Under the car.
Well, so I'm bringing the double-decker. I'm bringing the double-decker trailer behind the bus.
So I'll just sleep butt naked in that. We're good.
Well, no, there ain't no room in the bus, but you can sleep under the awning next to the bus. Don't worry.
Okay.
In the pit area.
Monster, I gotta ask because it was mentioned the no curfew. You raced at night yet?
What now?
I've never raced. I've raced once during the day. That's it.
Oh, okay. Because like the very first time that we were pushing and we were racing at night, that was wild.
Really?
And for anybody who hasn't done a quarter mile, when you're pushing something really nice, you feel yours, but you also feel theirs.
Yeah.
But at nighttime, you see theirs, and the very first instinct is to back off because you think you just blew something out of your own pipes. But it's everything you see at night that you don't see during the day. And so now you've actually got a visual, either left lane or right lane, of what you're normally feeling and hearing. And all of a sudden your brain just goes, hey, something ain't right here. And you're doing your best not to look over, because the moment you look over, you're off the rails and you're going to kiss something that you shouldn't be. It's crazy fun.
Well, this is only an 8th mile, so hopefully there won't be too much of that kissing the rails or anything.
Oh, I guarantee someone wrecks. Guarantee someone puts it in the wall.
Maybe. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Listen, hopefully not. But I'm just saying, I'm calling it.
Well, if it happens, there'll only be like 300 YouTube videos of it. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
In slow motion. And I'm actually bringing along with everybody in the planet, I bet, but I'm going to bring a drone. So.
Wasting you bringing your drone?
We're going to see a mid-air collision.
Yeah, you just see that mongrels mid-air collision. They both land. Somebody picks it up. Will it run?
Maybe that'll be the wreck is the drones.
Wife's home. Hold on. Be right back.
So back to the original question at hand. That's 2,300 hours left until monetization, by the way.
Okay.
2,300. That's
not terrible to think about. You know, a couple months ago, you were still in the hundreds in your subscriptions.
Well, I think he's probably a little closer than that too, because if you look, well, maybe not, but you look at the last couple long form videos, they got over 1,000 views already, and I don't know what percentage of retention
it's just the
they
one
have.
from today that hasn't uploaded for him yet. So, what's that video done today? What, 150 hours or something like that, dudes?
Yeah, probably
something like that. Let me go back.
Yeah,
I'm doing all these things.
If you could do 150 hours off a new long form video,
140.5.
Okay, so if you can do that every single day, plus what you're getting off the other ones that you can drive it, you'll get there pretty quick.
What we need to do, dudes,
to me is the amount of subscribers I have that aren't viewing at all. So that just points out the subscribers are a meaningless number. And out of the 2,000 views I've gotten, I've actually picked up 40 subscribers off of that video too. So that means it's new people that aren't watching that are just completely new to the long format.
Good.
Yeah, I suppose there's some of that, but like, I mean, my best long form video maybe has, when I put it up after a couple of days, it has 500-600 views. You got 1,000 within 10 hours.
500-600 views is pretty good for long form. I mean, mine don't even get that usually for a while.
30. I'm looking at 30, and that's about all I'm getting.
I usually get about 100, and then it'll sit for months, and then all of a sudden it'll pick up again. Some of them still sit there, and some of them take off. I get like 10, 20, 30,000, but it takes a long time.
We're going to put out a long format video every day, even if it's just reposting an old video until I run out of videos. So,
I mean, I believe in you, man. And you need to do a live, man. I know that, you.
Gee, I wonder where we've heard that before.
Yeah, well, just
I'm
do one.
live right now. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
hours.
About. The problem is we are not on Dudes with Wet Wrenches brand. What would be on brand?
Oh. Well, you could do it by yourself and just answer questions in the chat.
He can come down here
and
pretty much be slum with us, but
Oh, he's gonna put up the dual cam and just do I'm gonna interview myself.
Yeah, hey, do it.
You probably could.
Dudes with wrenches. With dudes. I can't even do it.
That would get really dark.
So there's a guy I watch in the Mopar world called B Mason, and all he does is turn on the camera and people come into the chat and he answers questions. He's a crazy good mechanic, pretty much any brand, but lots of Mopar stuff. You would be perfect to answer Chevy guys' questions. Like you would lose your mind at how much, once you're monetized, you'll get some crazy good donations. Trust me.
So I put out a short. I've got the long form video. I'm not finished editing it yet, but I put out a short of me messing with this hybrid vehicle my wife's out here. And somebody commented on there that I didn't know what I was talking about, and that it can't be a hybrid vehicle, that it's an electric vehicle. And I'm like, okay. It's a 2008 hybrid with like 280,000 miles. Get out of here, bro.
I haven't watched that one yet, but I mean, I did have a GMC Sierra hybrid with the big battery pack under the back seats and everything like that. And it had the transmission was basically what was the hybrid part, because it was an electric motor too. It was really weird transmission in those things.
The air conditioner runs on the batteries and on the electrics and all that.
I think that still ran on the 6-liter and stuff in the truck, but the truck used the transmission as a starter essentially, so it would shut down at the lights and start back up. And if you only did about 50 kilometers, about 30 miles an hour, it would actually be pure electric, and it would show. It had a screen that showed where the power was coming from and all that. So it was kind of neat. And I took the battery out. I took all the cells out. I balanced them up. I put them all back together and replaced the module and stuff. And I got this thing working. And I did the engine as well. The engine had a bad lifter in it, and it was kind of a neat truck, but it was useless. Like I did not like it on the highway.
What year was it?
Can't tow crap. What, 2010?
Okay. I know like the 2006 and 7 hybrid Chevys. Nobody wants. Like, you can buy them for real cheap at the auctions because nobody wants them.
We had we had a guy that I needed to deal with. Oh, this story can wait.
There's a beard.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the champion of the beards right there.
So, Mongrels, are you feeling pressured to grow a beard yet?
No. I'm the only one that is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Oh dear.
All right, now you have to leave because you don't have a beard. Sorry. It's a beard members only.
The beard panel. So why'd you leave then?
All right,
How's
Piston,
that?
what you have, bud?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's studying.
Hey, Punisher.
Hey, Punisher.
What's up, Punisher? How you doing, man?
Pat, awesome. Thanks, Pat.
Hey, Pat, man, I appreciate that, bud. It's I am glad to be back. I didn't really touch on this yet, guys, but have y'all seen the short video I did? I took a short break from YouTube.
I'll be back. I got to take this call.
All right. I did a short break from YouTube and went to Arizona, and we buried one of my childhood friends that I've been friends with since I was like 13. So, yeah, so I'm back now, and that was rough. I did get a great chance to meet Destroyer or Eric here, and also Bryce from iSpider Garage. So there was another YouTuber. Gosh, I keep forgetting his name. I know it's something 1776, and boy, I remember that, but I don't remember the rest of his channel. I'm sure iSpider can tell us. And man, yeah, it was really cool meeting all them guys. So, and Pat, I appreciate the donation and the words, bud. Didn't want to ruin everybody's mood, guys. Sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all, man. It was great to see you once again. It just, wish it was better circumstances, but
yeah,
it was it was still really cool to meet you and your brother. It was awesome. That was a fun time.
What and I've got your banners over here, so you got to save what, $10, $20 in shipping too. So,
dude, I can't thank you enough for that, man. Just finding a box to fit them would suck.
I'm telling you. So my brother, and I don't know if he's still in here or not, he is so sensitive against smoke or whatever. He's like, oh, it's smoke. So he's like, oh, they smell like smoke because they were in your garage or whatever. I'm like, dude, shut up. It's not. It's like vinyl. How's it smoke? So I was like, fine, we'll set it up. And where we were staying at the Airbnb, I'm like, we'll set it up in their little garage area overnight on top of the car, and then we'll put it back in. And about, I don't know, probably about 500 miles back to the trip back or whatever. He goes, I'm smelling smoke. I'm smelling cigarettes again. I'm like, shut up. There's no way. He just
So he loved it that I was just smoking away in my garage.
Man, I don't know why he's so sensitive to it, man. Our mom smoked. I mean, she's smoking the car in the winter. If you tried to crack the window, even you get in trouble. So, yeah, I don't know why he's so sensitive about that. But
it's a bad habit. He's got a good idea about it, but it's just one of those things. I'm kind of just doing what I do, being me.
There's Bryce with that other channel that was he's out of Texas, and he was visiting Bryce at the same time that I was going to visit Bryce and Destroy there. And yeah, he seemed like a pretty cool guy. He was I think he was like 6'4", and I'm like, I don't know, 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around there. And then Bryce is like 6'7" or 6'8" or some shit. So
really,
it's kind of a step down kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah. Good time.
Yeah, you sent me a photo, and I was like, Jesus, Bryce is a big boy.
Well, you see, so his driveway goes a little bit of angle. That's why I'm standing at the top, and he's at the bottom. So it kind of, it was supposed to be a joke. It's not that I'm scared about being short because I'm tall enough, but it was fun.
Tell us more about that not insecurity there, bud.
I'm not insecure, man. No, I don't care.
I'm tall as everybody. It's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm gonna just quickly throw something out here for Dizzy Izzy because I think it's gonna be pretty for any other bike fans out there. 113 if you're still here. So back when I sold the Ram Charger, the dude that I sold it to, he was nice enough to give me exactly what I was asking for, and he threw in a couple bike frames and some British bike parts with it too. Which, hey, you know what? He liked classic American bikes, didn't like classic British bikes, so he didn't charge me anything for it. I'm looking at one of the frames, and it's got the curve that. So it's a feather bed frame, and I didn't worry about the other one. I took it with me, and so the 63 Triton is what's going to be built out of the old feather bed frame. And then finally, I'm looking up the stamp number on the frame of the other Triumph of the Triumph frame, and it comes up as a 61 TR6. Now, I was just thinking rebuilding the frame, just restoring it, firing it out, and that's it. But 61 TR6 sticks out for any Steve McQueen fan like me. One, it was the same bike as he had as a desert sled, which he raced and competed in California and did pretty good under his hidden name so that his production company wouldn't fire his ass or ground him from racing, because when he was filming in California, they did not want him riding bikes in races at all. So that was cool on its own. But anybody who's seen The Great Escape and sees that old Steve McQueen jump where they use the Triumphs dressed up as the BMWs and he does the jump over the fence, that is a 61 TR6. So all of a sudden that frame is not leaving the garage. And once I'm done, the TRW is done. The T100's next up. The Triton, the frame is just behind me. Can't see it. But I'm going to start collecting parts to build up Steve McQueen's old bike from The Great Escape. It's not my style. I'll probably sell it right after. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool, great, dude. The videos will be awesome. And you're such a cinematic god when it comes to that. Jesus.
I've got my moments.
So now do you feel so bad about selling your Ram Charger?
What's that?
Said now do you feel so bad about selling your Ram Charger?
You know, I was.
I know you were going back and forth on if you're going to sell it or not. So
I really was, and the guy that I sold it to, he kept quiet what he wanted to do with it, and I told him flat out. I said, you know what, man, like this thing in the next 2 years, you're probably going to need to put like 20 grand into the body and everything to keep it the way that it is. He said, you know, I've always wanted a Ram Charger. I've always wanted to have a project with my kid. And the guy has pulled it right down to the frame. He's already building it back up. It's a truck that he is building with his 8-year-old son and teaching him everything about it. He wants to give his son that truck. So how can I feel bad about it, right? So
yeah. Well, the 80s Ram Chargers, the roof didn't come off, right?
No. The 88 was it was the first year that had the throttle body injection, the TBI. It was still a 318. But yeah, so the Trail Dusters, you could always take the top off of those. The Ram Chargers, the first ones, most of them didn't even come with a passenger seat. It was meant mainly as just a work truck with a lid on it, right? But I mean, the cool thing is that the 88 still had some holdovers from previous years. So it still had the roll cage inside. That roll cage was from the old trucks that you could take the top off. But because the B pillar wasn't strong enough, they they put that roll cage in there, right? Well, this one's got a solid B pillar. Well, my old one had a solid B pillar, but it also had that factory original roll cage inside of it, which is still, it was pretty cool. If you were a driver looking back, if you were a passenger, every time you're sitting back and you clock the back of your head on it, not so cool, but not my head, so not my concern.
Yeah. Unless you're a passenger.
Yeah, you know, it was, I had fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I got to do a lot with it. And it was a blast. I mean, you got a short wheelbase, a heavy truck. You've got, it'll get you in anything and out of anything, except for tickets with the cops. There's no getting out of those with a Ram Charger. It's nice. They're really polite up here. They'll ask you all about the truck. They'll tell you their stories, and they'll still give you the ticket, but with a smile on their face. But I deserved every one of them. But yeah, you know, I had my fun, and seeing where the truck's now, I can't complain. Not one bit. I'm really happy with it.
Did they say sorry a lot when they were giving you the ticket?
Sorry. I'm sorry, guy, but
I couldn't let it. I tried to let it pass. I couldn't let it pass.
You know, you don't make up the stereotypes if they're absolutely real, right?
Well,
I got my beard picture up.
That's your beard picture? That's like
There's a beard there?
That's where it's coming
oh,
in.
okay, he's like a pirate.
Yeah, the pirate.
I didn't know you could grow eyelashes that long.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I Spider Garage here. Bryce says he's only 6'6", guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
Nice.
This is all right.
I don't grow a beard because I don't want to upset you guys and make you feel.
Oh, he's so nice that he won't even grow a beard.
Listen.
So Canadian.
Look at the dude. The dude with this beard right here doesn't give a shit about any other beards. I look like a homeless man, and I love it because.
But it's easier to look at you when you're covering half your face, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got to grow. You got to keep growing.
You are correct.
Dudes
You
in the
look like a
picture above
homeless
you.
guy.
He really looks like a homeless guy.
I think you are technically a homeless guy, aren't you? Do you have a home?
I'm going Duck Dynasty, I think is. Well, my wife asked me how far I was going the other day. I said Duck Dynasty.
Hey, Wasted, he's made a point. You technically are a homeless guy, right? You're still looking to buy a house?
Not. I mean, I'm looking to buy a house like I was looking to buy a side by side. You know what I mean?
Not really looking too hard.
When the deal comes along, I'm keeping an eye on the markets, but the deals aren't there. Everything's so ridiculously inflated right now. There is a piece of property right down the street from me. It is 3/4 of an acre, and they want like $150,000 for it. There's nothing on it. There's allegedly a well and a 1,000-gallon septic system, and that's it. That's the only thing on the lot.
It is getting ridiculous, man.
They want $150,000 for it.
Here in town, there's a place that's selling a lot on the main drag. They want about what was it? After the exchange rate right now, it's about $65,000. So picture this nice big ass home, and beside it, it's got a lot, and it's about 35 feet. It's about 65 feet going back, and it's got a big ass tree in the middle of it. They subletted a lot like that because people are trying to scrounge up money. I'm like, man, if I was a real prick, I'd buy that up and just build a car garage there or something. I don't know.
No way.
It's wild what people are doing with real estate now. It's absolutely nuts.
You said that whole thing was 65,000?
Yep.
The lot, not the house and the lot. The lot.
Just the lot with the tree.
Like, if I could buy a house for 65,000, I'm there.
Exactly.
But all you can do is build a tree house in there. That's it. And you can't afford it with the cost of lumber right now. So,
well, Nova Scotia is a fair bit cheaper than the rest of the.
If you guys want to buy some land, I know where some land is in Arkansas here. It's a little
how much is the messed up land going for an acre there?
How much you want to buy for? We could set some prices here.
Well, I mean, I got $20.
I can't do that low, but
that's what I'm saying.
That's only 4 acres.
I got a Butterfinger.
Butterfinger?
I mean, Mongrels is right though. Like our real estate out here, it was the last cheap pocket of real estate, not quality wise, but cost wise, right? It was, and after the last year and a half, it's been insane. Houses that were normally going, and out here in Nova Scotia, you can look at the price listing over years. It's legal to do that, so you can look up any property and see what it's sold for over the years and how much it's increased. And you're seeing houses that were going for like 85,000, 90,000, 100,000, 450,000. Like, that's nuts.
You know, down here they call it Zillow. They'll give you a Zestimate or some shit like that. It might not be accurate, but
Yeah, that's what I use.
It's pretty close. That's how I judge what I'm going to rent for. But yeah, everything's so overinflated right now. Except my
for sure.
My paycheck did not overinflate. That's some real bullshit.
Yeah, that's mine too. It's
Are you talking about your retirement check, or did you start getting your disability or VA money yet?
Yeah, none of that inflated. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
But the real estate,
I got all that.
I don't know about the U.S., but the real estate in Canada, like right now, if anybody's listening north of the border and thinking of buying something, Mongrels, you see that article where RBC put out 41% correction over the next 12 months is what's expected?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I've been saying that for a long time.
It's crazy.
What you're going to see is people that are locked in about 5 years, real estate's going to crash hard.
Big time.
Yeah.
You're giving it 5
and it's going to be the same down
I don't even
south.
think it's going to be here in the U.S. anyway. I don't think it's going to be that long. I'm thinking the next year.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to remember this big boom that just happened. Most of these people are going to lock in for 5 years on their mortgages, right? But as soon as those things renew and you're facing double-digit interest rates, you're hooped.
You are. And for those that, I'm not saying prey on the weak, but there's going to be a lot of foreclosures, tax sales, stuff like that.
It's going to be the 80s all over again. People are just going to walk away.
Here it'd be like more 2009. But
yeah,
like 2007, 2008,
2009. Well, and that's what I'm waiting for. And that's why I don't want to buy in right now because
hopefully people
smart choice
got a fixed interest rate, not a variable, because that's where they'll get them.
Well, they went
not
away
so easy
that.
up here. Because to get something, you got to put a huge down payment. So there are a whole bunch of people from Ontario. Province was it wasn't that it was a rich province. It was people were going 400,000 or 500,000 over the asking price in bidding wars, and they're still losing out. So they said, forget it. They were moving out here where they're buying places, $300,000-$400,000 sight unseen. Well, the problem with that is now that they're moving out here, all these places need renovations. They need work. They need stuff like that. They can't afford it because the cost of building materials, contractors, all that has gone through the roof, right? So their pot of money from their house sale has gone dry. They've got nowhere else to live. So they're living in houses that are effectively decrepit, and they are locked in now because they put such a huge deposit down that while the market is still doing what it's doing, they can't sell and gain anything. They're on the losing side now. So they're either stuck in a house that they have to renovate nonstop, but they can't afford to do it, or it's getting even worse. There's a lot of desperate situations that are happening all across Canada. I mean, just the other week, there's a lady had a single apartment in Vancouver, and so she wasn't going to be evicted. She needed to bring somebody in as a roommate. So single room apartment, and the ad went up. You see the picture of a bunk bed put over top of the couch, and this is real. This is not, a gimmick. Saying we'll split the rent. The rent for the roommate would have been $1,450 to have a bunk bed over top of a couch.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane. Our real estate market is just ready to collapse, and when it hits, holy shit! If you're not ready for it, you're done.
Yep.
I'm not too far from Sykeston, Turlo. I don't know about
Sorry, everybody.
Far. Yeah. You want to buy an old truck or something? I got you, Turlo. I got a 1999 F-150 right now.
It's only down one plug.
How'd you know? I was going to say, well, I guess I've been talking about it. Yeah. Oh, 2-valve Ford got one plug that just won't come out.
Well, you've got your son's van too, don't you? You just got to slap the candy man.
Yeah, it's almost ready. It'll be ready, I don't know, probably next week. I got the parts van. We've already started taking apart, and this one I got to do a little adjustment, and then it'll go back all together. So,
dudes looks like Edgar Allan Poe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was the look. I officially had to shave everything. That was too much. It was too much.
That was too much?
Yeah.
So I think it was 113. Had an idea. I do not want to pull the head on this truck to get the spark plug out. I just don't want to do it because for this one, it calls to pull the engine out, to pull the head on this one out. So I don't want to do either one of them. So our idea is to get some JB weld in a regular old spark plug socket and put a little bit of JB weld in there, and then get it down on that spark plug and let it sit for a couple of days, and then go try to yank that out.
When you go to do that, before start soaking it, and I know I've said it before a few times, but the best anti-seize of any kind I've ever used and come up with is a 50-50 mix of ATF and acetone. Now it's going to want to separate, right? So you got to stir it up, and then you just apply it with a paintbrush, let it sit there.
This one's not seized in there though. So this one, it just spins. So I'm assuming it looks like it may have had a helical in it already, and the helical broke or something like that. So it just spins, and you can even pick it up and drop it down. It'll come up a little bit, and then it won't come up anymore. And where it's located, you really can't get the angle on it to like get something on there. Like I borrowed 113 Ryan. I borrowed his long needle nose, and I'm able to get in there and grab a hold of it and pull it in a little bit. Of course, it doesn't have enough grip to hang on to it.
The head's still on the engine, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so dudes, work with me on this one. We get a camera set up. He pulls it out, spray a little bit of carb cleaner in there, light it,
try to blow it on out,
stand back, and see what we can get for a distance record.
I mean, they're known for blowing spark plugs out, and I'm sure that's why it has a helical in it already.
Right? They blow
Easy in,
out.
easy out.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll spray down, so I don't care.
I will hit the thumbs up for that.
That's another option too. I mean, stick something in there to actually seal the hole in it, and then just turn the motor over a bunch of times and see if it flies out.
Just from the compression?
Yep.
I've already tried that. It didn't do it. So yeah, I've tried getting it up to about 4,000 RPMs and everything, and just
Dizzy's onto something here.
And a match that should do the trick.
Izzy's onto something. We've got No Name Nationals, a whole bunch of shows. What about a cannonball run across the U.S.?
That's kind of what Wasted was talking about when he was talking about doing something up there, but not across the U.S. He was talking about doing a Gambler 500, or you take a $500 vehicle and fix it up to go off road and do all this little crap. So I think that's still in the books for this next year.
I can't wait till next year, man. I'm finally going to be able to see some of you guys in person. Fair warning, I'm just as nice as I am on camera, but it's going to be fun.
Damn Canadians.
So
yeah,
absolutely.
I wouldn't, unless you just have to, I wouldn't fly into St. Louis. I'd fly into Memphis and get you a rental there. St. Louis is, it's a little bit more expensive, and, it's a little further away, I think. So that's just my opinion anyway. Who is that popping back?
Well, I just was reminded that I'm on chicken duty, so I'm going to go. Perfect timing, Rockabilly. I'm going to go and cook some dinner for the fam. I just wanted to jump on, show some love. Appreciate all you guys. Great to see you, Piston Twisted. Big lot. I guess Wasted left. Mongrels.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Destroyer.
Thanks, Cletus. Appreciate the invite.
Coming on, bud. Good talking to you.
I'm sure I'll be back in the chat later.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm walking back to this back room at this.
Loves?
What the hell am I? TA.
Ah.
Yeah. There's a room back here that called the TV room. Nobody was in there. All right,
so
cool.
I seen that you're driving for Swift. Can we still make fun of Swift for having non-drivers, or?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Those are the other guys, not me.
All right. So, Chef, I don't know if this counts, but my first car, to answer your question, my first car was a 74 Duster. Found it by accident when my friend's car, him and I were driving between two towns. One was Regina, one was Moose Jaw. Regina, the city that rhymes with fun. And so we broke down halfway, had to go get a jerry can to get some gas, and the farmer invited us in for dinner, and I was a bit of a gearhead and Mopar fan, so he pulled me to the garage, and he pulled the cover off, and this Duster was sitting there for about 16 years, and he said $500 and it's yours. And so I went back the next week. He had it ready to go and drove it back on 7 out of 8 cylinders on that 318, hit a Seagull on the road too. So that was about, I would say, it wasn't 13,000 miles, but it was a long enough drive from there down to southern Alberta, and that was the closest I got to that. But I mean, that was 98 when you could still get classics for $500. That's about
yeah.
I was.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick up this little Z28. Do Tony 500 for that one.
Nice, nice.
So, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try to make that my funniest video yet because I got some ideas for that little thing.
Yeah,
Sure. Well, how many vehicles would that make you now? If you picked that one up?
The Impala, the S10, the 240, the Maverick, and now this Camaro. I have 5 for me.
Oh, you don't have
But
the
then my
Durango
wife
anymore?
has the Cadillac. And the, well, those are my wife's cars.
Them don't count.
I don't want to say
You got dudes
when
and
she
me
told me
here.
she
So
wanted, hey, when she told me she wanted to buy a Cadillac, first thing I brought up is a 1966 DeVille. She's like, "Hell no, I'm not buying an old one. I want a new one."
Okay.
What was
So
wrong
I
with the
was like,
66?
all right. I was like, "It's your money. You say you want it."
I like the big sleds myself. That'd be pretty cool. Be fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm driving for O Swift.
Now, dude's gonna hook
But
his Camaro up.
but I believe that the school I went through trained me pretty damn good. All the
People giving
instructors had
Swift a
30
lot of.
plus years.
Swift's a huge company. They're always getting made fun of, but not all the drivers.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, going through orientation, found out how big this company was. I was like, damn,
Oh yeah.
they own like 10 other small little companies. So,
I used to be the do the Freightliner here in North Little Rock, Arkansas. I used to be the shop foreman there, and boy, we'd always see
nice.
some drivers in there.
Yeah, my instructors when I was going to school, the lead instructor, Dallas, he drove for 32 years and he did a lot of the ice road trucking.
Oh, that's no joke.
And then Eric, he's been in all 48 states plus Canada, and he drove for 31 years. And then the female instructor, Shauna, she drove for 18 years, but she was also over in Iraq. So I think that getting trained by those people, I think I got trained pretty damn good.
Sounds like it, man.
Well, good.
So,
So we better not see any
I've been
videos of your trailer sitting in a ditch or anything. So
Nah. And when I went to go test for my CDL, I literally scored a 95 out of 100 on all my points through my pre-trip, my backing position, backings test, and driving test.
Nice, man.
So the only thing I missed was when I was driving. I didn't slow down fast enough. I was at 32, not 30.
yeah,
By the time my trailer passed this speed sign, but I was already on the brakes. But if it
that's
wasn't
part
for
of it.
that,
I guess that's a lot of weight. Slowing down. So I guess that's why they give you
Yep.
the score. But that's okay. That's nothing you can't fix.
No, and then I first run out, went to El Paso, and then over to Mexico or New Mexico, and then up to Cerro Vista, Arizona. So this run, we just went out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then getting back, then leaving at 4 a.m. here to go back to Marietta, Oklahoma, pick another trailer up, and then Saturday morning we're taking off to go to Colorado, over to Utah, and then Wyoming, and then back.
So making all that big money, I hear you're going to buy everybody dinner at No Name Nationals, right? Pizza for everybody, or
If I'm up there, yeah, I'll do it.
there's going to be a lot of people there. But
Listen, man, if you're ever in Nova Scotia, you got to drop me a line.
You got it. We do travel over into Canada, but it's only certain times.
Mhm.
I'm with the account for Dollar Tree, so I literally deliver to every whatever Dollar Tree store they want me to go to.
you mean $1.25 tree now, right?
Yeah, inflation,
Yeah,
my friend.
basically.
Well, this is $2 tree up here.
Cement, what number are you at now, bud? I know he's trying to get to 500, guys.
Hey, Cement.
I know he's getting.
I'm at 4 something, I think. I think it just
What'd you
passed
say,
400.
Oh, I thought you already passed 500, man.
No.
I just assumed you was. Damn it.
Nope. That's why I said I'm still trying to go.
Looks like
shorts out there.
I'm just opening up Siemens' channel. He's at 288, so definitely some growing there.
Hey, you know, you're doing this truck driving stuff. Do a short during your pre-inspection.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Well, what's funny is why I kind of went silent for basically for this month and a half is because I had to be quiet on social media because I have people following me from my job. And what I did was I lied to them and said I was going to Michigan for my PTO for vacation. And I'm going to go up there, and I'm also going to, because I told them I'm going to a YouTube event. Then I'm going to stop by some reptile companies and get some reptiles. Then I'm going to come back, but I'm going to have to use some of my other relief time. So I started school July the 11th. I got my last check July 29th. And then my boss finally messaged me asking, hey, where you at? And I told him, dude, I'm sorry, but fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to be quiet because if they found out what I was doing, they would have cut my PTO off and I wouldn't have got the money to cover bills.
I got you. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Right.
Now you're
as soon as I get money in.
Yeah.
As soon as I start getting money in, my builds are going to start happening a lot faster.
Well, you can still do shorts without the builds, man. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, obviously, but you can do shorts on anything. You know, seeing a crazy car when you're out at TA or Love's or something, or a crazy truck, or seeing somebody doing something like the old truckers will take their little bars or wood sticks and tap on their tires to check their air pressure. You could take a short of somebody doing that stupid stuff. Or
all right, I'm back.
My beard to look at that.
Welcome back.
So, Cement Surfer, his link is right there, guys. Y'all make sure to click on it. Also pinned is Outfits Garage. Y'all make sure to subscribe to both them guys. And then Rock.
Oh, yeah, Cement Surfer needs to get there.
Trying to push it. What'd you say, bud?
I said, oh, yeah, Cement Surfer, we need to get him there.
Oh, yeah. He's actually dropped down a little bit. He's back under 300, so we need to get him there. Y'all make sure to share him out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now since I'm officially working with Swift, not at Webstron, I'm going to come back and start sharing every one of y'all's stuff on different platforms.
Man, also get your own name out there, man.
Yep.
I mean, I'm all about the community. Don't get me wrong; it's freaking great group of guys. We all
it is an amazing community.
And it's awesome, but you gotta get push yourself.
Oh yeah,
get out there and do it, man.
Yep. Oh yeah, I do plan on it. I've already been taking some videos of going through these mountain ranges.
Well, and you know, you can just look at dudes there, man. I mean, he has his own way that he's done it. Of course, I'm not saying do it exactly like him. He hadn't said exactly how he done it, but shorts do work.
Yep.
So
yeah, I was looking at his bridge just once, and he was under, and then looked at him again. I'm like, he's way up there. What the hell just happened?
He's killing it.
So on that note, I gotta finish editing the video I'm doing, and I got to the voiceover part, so I'm gonna need this mic, so I gotta jump off.
Okay. I appreciate you coming on, bud. Good talking to you.
Talk to you later, bud.
Later, man.
Yes, sir. Later.
There's no wonder he's such a pro. Look at that voiceover, fancy terms like that, eh?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess if you put the time and effort into your channel, it'll work out. Or maybe I gotta start doing some of that stuff.
I give him a hard time, but he, you know, he really does do a good channel.
Yeah,
he does, and it's fun to watch.
Well, we've been telling him that forever too, so it's not like it's anything new for him. He just
we said that in April that his channel was going to take off, and it finally did.
We all told him. I think everybody's channel could take off as well. You just got to find your rhythm. You got to find your niche, you know. And it's I'm not obviously not a pro at it or anything, but
you say that, but congrats on 1,700.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Congrats, man.
My goal this year was 5,000. So I'm like, I'm gonna work hard, get 5,000, and it just hadn't happened. But I'm doing less traveling than I thought I would. I've still done some traveling. I've still done quite a few meeting other YouTubers and stuff. But I don't think I'm gonna hit the 5,000 this year. But we'll see. But 1,700 is nothing to shake a stick at. I'm happy with it. Yeah.
And you look at Wasted too. Like, I mean, that guy is shot up too, really.
Oh yeah, he's killing it too.
He wasn't even at 1,000 earlier this year, was he?
I remember him breaking.
I think he had just no, because he wasn't at 1,000 in April. So
that's right, and he's over just about 4,000 now.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize he was so high.
Last I checked,
that's awesome. He said he's putting out like 5 shorts a day though.
So again,
look at Midnight Road. That dude's killing it.
Midnight down there.
It works.
I mean, I've been doing that. I've been going to the car shows, get some footage, and we walk around and add a little music, throw it up. I get subs every time. It's
another one that shot up there was is it Hard Rock or Hard Rock
Garage?
Hard
Rock out of Oklahoma there.
Yeah. He told me when I'm ready, he can possibly find me a flathead V8 for my rat rod build when I get it.
Nice.
I got a flathead.
So I found. So I've got a location on 2 different Model Ts.
I've got
I don't know, Dizzy. I think if they start making it over 1,000, can they still call it no name nationals?
Yeah, I think so. 1,000's still not that.
Well, that's like
that much.
The James and James show got 600 subscribers in less than 3 weeks. They was doing
those guys shot up fast.
They got some good content though. They got some good drag racing stuff, and a lot of people ate it up.
I'm just glad to see the automotive community growing. You know,
big time.
I
think we're going to see a lot more of it, especially not to kind of try and corner the how-to side of it, but money's not what it used to be, right? So if you've got a project or you got a car, even the basic mechanical stuff, where's everybody going now? It's a running joke up here. I don't know about down in the US, but just YouTube it. You'll find the answer.
Oh yeah, YouTube University.
Yeah, man. So
that's everybody.
But there's the how-to side, but then there's also that whole, people are getting into it and they're just starting. They're not really confident. They're not going to talk about it openly, not because of egos or something like that, but they may be shy about it. But YouTube, you can sit there by yourself in front of a laptop and just go on a cruise, and you see channels like ours where it's just everyday dudes just supporting each other and working problems out and having a whole variety of different projects, like just encouraging people. If you can have people see something and they want to be a part of that because you're including them, hey, that's huge, right? And that's going to help grow that base with the automotive side.
Well, if you look at my how-tos, because I do have some, they're very basic because I am definitely not an expert. But touching on that, my son the other day, he has this little YouTube channel he started. He ain't getting into it real heavy yet or anything. But, I've been teaching my son and my daughter, how to work on their own vehicle, and we do all the maintenance ourselves. They have to be part of it. I bought the car. They'll work on it. So the other day he's like, oh, he said, I'm not going to change my oil anymore. I'm going to get a job. I'm just going to take it to the shop or whatever and get my oil changed. I said, okay. I said, what do you think it costs around here? He's like, I don't know, $15-$20. I said, yeah. Ask my brother, ask your uncle, what's it cost? And it's about $100 to get an oil change around here.
Yep.
Especially if you go to a dealer or something. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. So you're gonna get your brakes done and stuff too? He's like, yeah, I don't feel like doing brakes or whatever. I said, okay. Just to get brake pads, not to do any rotors or anything like that, just brake pads. It's $100 per axle, so that's $200 per car.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you don't need anything else. It's just pads. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna continue doing my own stuff. So.
Well, I typically order my brake stuff from Max Brakes. I find they have free shipping. You can usually do all 4 corners for around $250-$350, and that's rotors and pads. So on just about any vehicle, and they got different levels.
when I have people come into the garage and we're teaching them how to do stuff, one of the first things that we show them is a factory service manual and how to go through it, how to find parts, using sites like Rock Auto, Summit Racing, Napa Canada, comparing prices. And it is a big shock to people. The one we did, I helped a friend out with brake rotors the other day, and it was realizing that, okay, through Rock Auto, there you go. Through
That's my year
Rock
model.
Auto, he was able to get all 4 rotors that he needed for his car for the price of a pair up here.
Yep.
But to get all 4 rotors, pads,
So,
everything
like-
that he would have needed was less than the cost of getting one axle done.
Yeah,
And
but
that's nothing to scoff at, you know.
yeah, for you for sure though, Piston, is go look at Max Brakes and Auto Shack. I know.
Oh, I use Auto Shack for sure. Especially for rotors. They're because I can get drilled and slotted rotors all the way around for the price of 2 rotors everywhere else.
Yeah, because they're free shipping in Canada, and so the thing about Rock Auto is they're great, but brake parts are heavy, and as soon as you get that weight, you're paying a lot on the ship, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I use and no, okay. So the brake parts, if it's your daily driver, they might not last quite as long as the OEM stuff, but it's brakes. How hard is it to change your brakes, man? I can do a set of brakes in like an hour.
It took me longer to film the changing the rear drums on the Ram Charger. It took me longer to film that than it was to change the brakes out on 4 corners.
Exactly. So
and it's also, you know, what tools do you need? What do you need? And this is the beauty of YouTube and having these how-to videos. It's showing how do you do it, having options, right? Tool wise, you really don't have many options, but at least you have a demonstration of how to use them. Because the one thing that scares me is when people, they've got a bit of a budget and they say, okay, I'm going to go out and get tools. And it's the first set of tools that they think, and they blow their budget on a set of wrenches and sockets. Ooh. Yeah.
that's what Canadian Tire's for up here. Go get that multi-kit on sale and away you go.
Yep. And start with a basic set of tools. That's always the first advice that I give. Like, man, start with a basic set of tools. You go with the basic set, and you know, wrenches are wrenches, but learn what the tool can and can't do and what you want it to do. And then over time, when it's time to upgrade it and you've got the money to upgrade it, you know exactly what you're looking for what you're doing.
Right. I've had some people ask me where to get decent price tools. I send them to Harbor Freight.
Yeah,
there's some tools that are good there. I'll give you that.
But I'm talking about for a good cheap set just to get you started.
Yeah,
go there.
Well, where are the Mastercrafts down there?
What would be Mastercraft be down there? Maybe like Cobalt or something, or Husky.
It used to be on par with Craftsman.
Oh, okay. Well, they sell Craftsman at Lowe's now, so.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Craft-
can
I thought you guys
Lowe's
had
on
a-
a
That's a
lot of
store down there.
sales.
Oh,
Mastercraft tools.
talking about Lowe's, the other company, Home Depot, they started getting in like matte color toolboxes for about $1,000. These are big toolboxes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely picking up the matte white one that I found.
See, I'll probably buy when I go to replace these boxes here. I'll probably buy. I'll probably be looking around and buy one on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Buy a used one that's in good shape because toolboxes are expensive.
I'll tell you guys, like, honestly,
yeah.
you've seen the garage here for maybe a quarter of the price of a toolbox. I was able to put pegboard up going all the way around the benches and set it up and just hang the stuff, right?
Yeah. If I had a garage, that'd be a perfect way to go because. But I would still buy, and maybe not a huge toolbox. Maybe I buy a medium toolbox, and then I buy me a push around cart so they can go around in the garage.
Well, see, through Home Depot, I found you get the top box and the bottom lower box. They're like the normal size big snap-on ones you get, and they also have a little plug-in set up for to hook all your chargers in. And I want to say they're right under $1,000 for all of it. Comparing to like Snap-on or so, dear God, Snap-on, you're going to buy basically
well, if
another
you're going to
car
buy that
for the
stuff,
price
you
they're
need to be
bought.
on the professional level where you're doing it every day, all day, You know, you're not. That's the only way you're going to be able to justify the cost.
Well,
and
go
even
check
then,
out
it's too high.
Costco as well.
Oh, yeah.
Fuel box.
Costco.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys, one of the
Yeah,
hardest
I'm not
tools
doing it at Costco.
and maybe somebody out there can help me out with this one. One of the hardest tools right now that I've been trying to find is a torque wrench that is a 1/2-inch drive that can accurately do from 25 to 35 foot-pounds. Anything below that, fine. Anything after that, fine. But something accurate for that range. And
Well, I usually just use German torque, which is Gudentight, and then on the Volvo we used we called it oh gosh, I'm messing the joke up now. But anyway, we had to name it something else because it's not German, so I forgot what we was calling it.
Swedish.
Gosh, that was great.
Swedish.
Well, you're looking for a 1/2-inch drive.
Goodish. We were calling it Goodish. That's right.
You know what? Go just check out Eastwood.
Eastwood. There you go.
So
Yeah.
I took a look at the reviews on them and a number of others that have been put out there where they're doing a comparison between the torque settings.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy with the low end on that torque wrench.
Which one?
All of them so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've got the one digital one that does degrees as well, because I use it for torquing the head bolts on the LSs and the Hemis.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that torque wrench, man. That thing's awesome. It has a little extra slop in the head of it, but as long as you know how to compensate for that. And what I mean by that is if you have to ratchet it, well, when you pull on the handle again, you're going to get about 10 degrees before it starts torquing again, right? So what I do is I just kind of preload it, reset 0, keep track of how many degrees I've already turned it, and it's fine.
Who makes that one?
And that was Eastwood.
So specifically, this is for the aluminum cylinder head on top of the TRW side valve engine. Now it's got 12 studs, all in short distance from each other, and the torque spec needs to be 30 foot-pounds, right?
Yeah.
Any more, and you're risking messing up the studs in the actual cylinder head itself, in the block.
And that's what I liked about this digital wrench. I'll see if I can find the exact specs about it. Is because it's like most 1/4-inch drive torque wrenches, they start at 25 foot-pounds, and you're right, the low range is going to be crap. But this one, I think it goes down about 15 foot-pounds or something. So you've already gotten past that inaccurate low range area.
The reason for the 1/2-inch is the socket set is the socket set that fits the old pre-1968 British thread pattern.
Yeah.
So it's got its own, there isn't a metric size. The closest one is 13 mil, but there's too much slop in that. And so the only other way to do it is if I go with a different size, whether it's a 3/8 or 1/4-inch. The problem is now I'm putting adapters in, putting extensions in.
Exactly.
I've got to take the tank off. I got to take a lot of stuff off, where after a run, to make sure that the cylinder head is retorqued, I just want to be able to take the original socket and torque it down and make sure that it's good to go. The problem with that is that if it's off, it's messed, right? Yeah, if you can get the specs for me, that'd be great. I'll take a look at that for sure. Because that's the most frustrating thing about this whole thing is just that 30 foot-pounds with a 1/2-inch drive. Anyway, I digress.
All right. Good.
Oh yeah, definitely Cletus. Don't worry, that little S10 build is coming up next.
Good. I'm I'm always a sucker for a square body S10.
I just got to find a TH400 to bolt to that LS.
Oh man, get you a 4L60 or something for LS. I mean, shoot.
The power I want to crank through this LS, I'll shatter a 4L60.
Get your 4L80 then. You'll be fine.
Will a 4L80 hold up about 6-7 horsepower? And then if I boost it up to 1200?
I mean, 1200. That's a putting a lot to that truck, but I mean that's what we put in the Volvo.
Well, because I don't know.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. The 700. You said you're looking for not a 700 4. You said you're putting in a 400.
I've been told a TH400 would be the best one to hold up with the power.
I'd say T56 or something like that. But if you want to go automatic, I would definitely go 4L80 myself. But
right, I don't know. I am debating about doing as a standard. Then again, those trucks are kind of hard to make into a standard, so just put a 2-speed power glide in it.
They shouldn't be too hard to make it standard.
Well, no matter what you do,
if
you're going to spend a lot of money on a transmission because if you're putting
especially if
that
you
power,
put
you
that
gotta have
much
a good
power for sure.
transmission.
But if you take off,
Yeah, that's true.
if you take the carpet up or vinyl or whatever you may have, there should be a space already ready that you just kind of put, punch out, and there's you put transmission right there.
Huh. I need to go look
all
at
the
it
S10s
because
were
this is
built
bare
pretty
metal.
much the same. Oh, well, there you go. Midnight says because it's a cousin of the 400.
So that's the unit there.
No, he wasn't talking for the Maverick, Chris. He's talking about for the S10.
Mongrel, I'll talk to you
Yeah, for
offline about it because I'm pretty curious. Yeah.
It's still
For
a
the
Chinese
Maverick, I
fuel
got
finish, but-
a Tremec 5-speed in it from American Powertrain. I think it's a T56.
There you go. So Mongrels, how's that LS swap coming up there, bud?
Well, I'm not doing any. Oh, I got two out. I'm working on the Ram right now.
I got you.
I've got the Camaro and the Trans
Jumping
Am.
around a little bit.
Yeah, I got the Camaro and Trans Am getting the LS swaps, but I haven't really touched them for a while. And I'm starting to gear up for a Hemi swap, actually.
What are you Hemi swapping?
Probably the 38 Pontiac.
Yeah, I knew you talked about that a little bit. What about the Cadillac there? What's going on with it?
Oh, we got some parts for it. It's just I'm waiting for Mike and his son to come out, and we'll do a little more on that. But I got to get this 2011 Dodge Ram 2500 done first. I got the engine built and back in it. And the interesting thing about that, I'll be making a video on this, but I pulled the cam out of that engine. And most people assume that the lifters take the cam out on those Hemis. All the lifters were good. The heat treating was failing on the cam.
Right.
Which was very interesting to me. And I'll put a video out based on that because the lifters were fine. All the rollers were good. They weren't seizing up or anything. But that cam, you can see all the pitting starting to happen and the heat treating eroding off of it. It was about
you have it apart already. What would make a great short is kind of show everybody why they call it a Hemi.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah,
people would get that. Like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, didn't know that.
Well, it's still they still have the hemispherical chamber in the heads, but they got the squished shelves in them now, so it doesn't look quite like the traditional.
Oh, so it's not as okay. I really haven't worked on them too much, but I knew that the original ones were pretty obvious once you looked at them.
Yeah, it just looked like someone took a baseball and pressed it into the head and
well, you can still show off the 2 spark plug holes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. No, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of the 2003 to 2008 Hemi versus the 2009 and up Hemi and show all the differences between the Gen 3 Hemi.
Dude just had a lot of good luck doing that, just showing a short video explaining this is what's going on, or this is cool about this model, or so that would be awesome. Just showing the difference in them. That'd be not only shorts, but you could do a short and then say, watch my full video to see the rest of it, or whatever.
Well, something that interests me and kind of entertains me is that so many people they run the 2003 to 2008 Hemi, which is the previous, like the 2009 up is the heads are called the Eagle heads on it, and then a lot of people go after the older one, and I don't know completely why, because the Eagle engine is so much better, but everyone's scared of it. No, you got to think 2003 to 2008 was the run for that previous generation.
Yeah,
you got 2009 to 2022 for the Eagle.
Yeah,
there's way more out there. They're far more.
Well, but I can buy a whole 2003 Dodge Ram for $1,200, $1,500.
True, but you're getting to the point where you can buy a 2009, 2010. You're starting to find them in pick and pull and stuff like that.
I haven't seen them around here. Not to say they're not around here, but boy, they run the crap up. They're 400,000 miles around here, man.
Doesn't matter. You rebuild that easy.
No, I'm just saying they run them until they're dead around here. You won't see them.
But that's the key right there is they'll do 400,000 miles with. It's actually kind of rare for yes, the cam failure rates happen, but it's actually, when you look at how many of those engines were produced, it's it's not that bad.
It's really not.
It really isn't. It gets a bad rep for it, but that engine is phenomenal. Like they beefed up the block, they beefed
It
up
is
the
so
rods.
much better than that 4.7.
Oh yeah,
100% better.
and
I mean,
the heads flow like race
Hey
heads.
guys, hate to cut in, but I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Go wash your butt.
Yeah. And the heads.
I
on
already
those
did
Eagles-
that. I
Oh, I
feel
thought they
good now.
was
I'll
going
just
to
stink the ass. All right,
Yeah.
we'll see y'all.
take it easy, bud.
Yeah, man.
Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Y'all too. Later.
And the heads on those Eagles, they flow like 330 CFM from the factory. Like that's
So
almost.
what's the price? How much is it going to cost to do a Hemi swap compared to just an LS swap?
Not that much more the way I do it.
Oh,
But
but you're not like converting it to carburetor or anything like that. You're
It's all factories. But that's what my channel started out doing, is taking all the factory Hemi components and getting it to run on an engine stand to prove that I could swap it into a vehicle for inexpensive. I got that engine run. I bought the engine, the computer, got it reprogrammed, the wiring harness for less than $1,000.
nice.
So, and I got it running on a stand for that. That includes the price of the stand that I built.
I would love to do a Hemi swap. I don't know if you'd be interested in coming down somewhere and doing one with as a group again.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Maybe we can put something together.
Yeah, we can certainly talk about
You
that.
you would be the expert though. See, before we had Wasted in 815. They were the experts on the LS swaps. I mean,
well,
I know you have done some of the stuff before, but they were like they had done so many, you know.
Yeah,
Those are
you
the
would be
wild
the expert on
shows.
this.
The live shows, watching you guys go through in the planning before the get together, that was insane.
There was
how
so
much
much
information
planning.
there was.
And even with all that planning, we still had issues. But it actually worked out pretty well. With everything that happened, it was just a couple parts that we had to order on Amazon and get them quick.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I got to jump off. They need some help with my new grandbaby in here. So
hey, we'll see you soon, buddy.
Good seeing
Nice
you.
to forward
Take
to
it
that.
easy, bud.
hey, this was like old times, like last year when we used to do these live
Not
streams
even
all the
Start
time.
talking crap. And
Yeah. All right. I'll get back in later. I'll talk to you guys.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
sounds
Later.
good, bud. Yeah, you get me talking about the Hemis. Like I'll sit there and chat about those things forever because
I'm a huge fan of them. I think they're just as good as LSs myself. But
yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of both. They're both very reliable, robust power plants and they're inexpensive if you know your way around them. The Hemi can get a little pricier than the LS, true, but it's really come down a lot in price and it's getting a lot more support now. You can get a Holley sniper system for the Hemi, right? And if you go check out another channel, Reignited Motor and Cycles, I think it's called, he actually put a Hemi in a square body. He did it before Vice Grip's doing it and stuff like that. And he has some really, really good information on him.
well, Leighton, are you talking about one of them Dodge Durango Aspen things? Or are you talking about an old Aspen? He has to be talking about an old Aspen.
It could be either or, I suppose.
Yeah, well, some of the newer Aspens are, I guess, newer.
He might
like
have a
08, they came with Hemi.
He might have the 4.7 and
they
want the Hemi in it,
were
right?
so junk. 4.7.
79 was a very good year for Dodge.
Oh,
79. So he's talking about the old
Aspen,
Ludens.
the car, yeah. Well, I've got a 69 Plymouth Valiant that's going to be getting that Hemi swap as well. So,
Yep. Well, that's going to be cool. I really would like to put something together, and maybe we can do it again.
I might
get everybody together, get a different team, and nobody else wants to do it, or whatever. I would love to get some people again to do some kind of build.
I'm down with that. I also got the 68 C10, which I may put a Hemi in. I haven't decided if I'm just going to do the easy route and do the LS or tick everyone off and do a Hemi. But now that Derek at Vice Grip's doing the square body, then it'll just seem like I'm ripping them off.
Yeah. Now you got to do a Coyote.
So Mongrels, here's one for you, man. Back when I used to do the quarter mile quite a bit, in one of the amateur classes, a friend of mine had me running his car. Not a story about his car, but there was a Fox body that was kicking ass all night long. And I thought he was sandbagging people, right? But you know, you do what you do, that kind of thing. And so we line up, and just by the draw, the way that it worked out is him and I are side by side, and we started to have a good little bit of chuckle as we're in the staging area waiting to go up. And he looks over, he says, "Hi, you got a Mopar?" "Yeah, so do I."
Yeah.
And it didn't click with me yet because it wasn't that popular in that part of Canada, in southern Alberta yet. And sure as hell, he put in a good run. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was close.
Yeah.
Then after he's laughing, he's like, "What do you got under that?" "Oh, it's a 440. "Yeah, me too.
All
I got mine out of a motorhome."
In a Fox body.
In a Fox body. And we spent probably myself and the crew spent probably the next 2 hours there just gawking over what was done. And they had pounded the tunnel out and fit a 727 in there. The entire power pack was from a 440. Wow. And man, could that thing fly.
You know, I love the Dodges because there's a lot of misunderstanding about a lot of their components. And one of the things is like even their automatic transmission, the 545 RFE gets a bad rep. But that transmission has really been around for a very, very long time. It's the early 90s. It started out as a 45. Hey, John, started out as a 45 RE. And the Jeeps used it, but all they did was change this because it's got 3 planetaries in it. All the Jeep did was change the software in the computer, and it's a 5-speed. And I think they changed the torque converter. That is the same transmission that's now a 6-speed in the 2012 and up. And all they did was change the software and the torque converter again. It's essentially the same transmission for, I don't know. And they put it in everything from the Dakotas to the 3/4 tons. And I've ran that transmission in my 3/4 ton for 400,000 miles, not towing, not had a lick of issues with it. So if you know how to set them up right, they're actually very, very good transmissions. And you can turn them into a 6-speed if you wanted to, just by programming, getting one of the newer controllers and throwing a different torque converter in it. So there's lots of neat little things that you dive into these things and you get information on them. And the Hemis, like I said, they're the architecture, when you get into it, it's very similar to an LS. It's the heads that are different. The basic block is extremely similar to an LS engine. And then when you get into 2009 with the cam paging.
What's really cool about that, you know, it's not one copied the other. You see this in aviation quite a bit, especially during the Cold War. You had designers that had a concept that they wanted to do. And so they sat down and they planned it out. And all the information that they had on how to design something the right way comes out as, you know, something that looks like this. Well, when another country uses the same way of trying to solve that problem, and between, you know, manufacturers, automotive manufacturers, you see that quite a bit.
Yep. Well, and like I said, the Eagle engine, besides the cylinder heads, it's got other technology in it that just makes that thing fantastic. One of is the variable cam timing, which keeps it in the power. And then you get the active intake runners. So when it wants to make torque, it closes down the runners, goes to short runners, and it's in the power band. And as it's coming up and it wants to switch over the horsepower, it's almost seamless. The runners open up into the long intake runners, maybe they close, but all of a sudden you get the best of both worlds in that engine. You got the low end torque, plus you get the high end horsepower.
Almost like a thermoquad where it would open up only when you needed it. Big bore in the back, but vacuum driven.
Yeah,
when the thermoquad worked.
Bryce here's talking about his 250. I've got a 79 F-150. We should Hemi swap that, and it really makes some people mad.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like it.
I'm telling you, it's got a 351 in it now. It started as a straight 6. Yeah, let's pull it out, put a Hemi in it. I'm ready.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Bryce? You know I love those 70s Ford trucks. They're actually, I quite like them.
I heard they leak fuel a lot.
Yeah. Ooh, a little bit of dig there, eh? But I'd love to do that, actually. That'd be awesome.
I mean, I've already got it. I can get a Hemi pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I'd need, but I'd be down.
Like I said, I know how to set up with the factory components, so it'd be great.
Yeah,
You'd end up with
I might hit you up on that because I've been deciding what I'm going to do with it. I was thinking, well, maybe I'll take the body and cut, do a body swap onto like a Crown Vic or something, Panther platform.
Yeah.
That's people's done that before, but I'm like, yeah, there's to be nice, fuel injected, air conditioner, it'd be cool. But
well, it's a nice truck. That's the blue one. I thought you sold it.
Mm-hmm. Well, my stepdad bought it, but I don't know. I might get it back from him.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe not. I don't know. Because he's got the 82 that I had as well. He bought that one, so he likes some old Ford trucks.
Yeah. Well, I like the 70s. I'm not a big fan of the 80s. Not the bull.
I like the bull nose. It's okay. It's got that straight 6 in it thing.
Well, that's indestructible, that thing.
Yeah.
Those straight 6s, they go forever.
Oh, yeah.
I fell in love with the 360s. I mean, I had a 79 D150, a 75 W150, and a 79 Power Wagon, step side.
Well, you're talking to the Dodge 360s.
The Dodge 360s.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you fell in love with the Ford 360s, you can just go away right now.
Oh, I would go away. I would. But that 360, the 79 360 and the Power Wagon, we were able to turn that into a 408 stroker.
They're awesome.
I was pushing out 500 and 500.
Yeah.
Its peak horsepower was 565 with torque that ranged in the high 500s as well. And it was too much for the old MP203 transfer case. It was too much.
Yep.
But the engine still looked stock. And that was the whole point of the project. But the look of the trucks as well. And it was very easy to work on. It was very forgiving, whether it was the W or the D version. And in the late 70s, I mean, you had the best of the 70s before the whole fuel crisis. The 80s started to cut back on anything that was coming out of that point, especially with the Dodge side. Yeah, those were the 360s were a blast to work on. And I mean, parts everywhere.
Yeah, I've got one in my
parts in a
motorhome.
box, shake it, and the engine builds itself.
Yep. I've got one in my 75 motorhome, and that thing still go out there and prime it a bit and fires right up. Like
it's funny. That's where I found the 440 for the 74 Duster when we started to build that up to do a little bit more on the quarter mile. It came out of a 79 motorhome because it was correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, but it wasn't the A block, it was the B block, which had a little bit more meat on the block itself. So couldn't find a 426 to save my life, not even back then. You won't find one anymore today. But the 440s, you had a lot of room for playing around with it.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Or doing stupid things with it.
Well, so we're talking about doing some stupid things like, I don't know, putting a Hemi in a Ford truck or swap it into something. We should, I don't know. That's going to be awesome. We should do, that Ford truck just sounds good with a Hemi in it. I don't know why. Just pull up to a car show, pop the hood open, just Hemi.
Oh, yeah. And you got to, just a little bit of tweaking. That thing's making 500 horse, 500 foot-pounds of torque. So,
well, I just like that, it'd be something different. The Volvo, it's not fast. I mean, it's fast, but it's not crazy. But with the hood shut, if you didn't hear it anyway, you'd never know it had LS in it.
An LS, yeah.
So we pulled up to car shows and everybody's like, what is that? Because they hear it, and they're like, oh my God. So I don't know. I just think it's cool to do stuff like that. Yeah, I'd love to do more stuff like that.
Well, that's what the thing is I'm a firm believer in, kind of like dudes, use what you got. You got stuff kicking around. For me, I happen to have a bunch of Hemis kicking around. So I'm going to start throwing them in what I've got that needs something and get it driving and enjoy the dang thing.
I don't think anything's wrong with the Ford 360, I guess. Chef, I don't know.
Oh, I can't stand the Ford 360. That was one of the worst engines ever produced. That thing was garbage.
Oh, I thought you'd say like I don't know, the 2.7 liter Chrysler.
Well, that was pretty garbage too. Everyone had their everyone had their lemons, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. But for me, that Ford 360, now the Ford 390, on the other hand, that was a great engine.
Oh, it's a beast.
Yeah.
I didn't think 360 was that bad, but then again, I don't know that much about them. So,
they were dogs. They're just crap.
If you had one,
that's been my experience with them, anyways. But that's just.
I haven't seen one of those 360. Like, running joke for us was if it didn't have a heating issue, it's because you weren't running them.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, they were junk. Now, again, you talk about the Ford Straight Six, the 300. That thing was bulletproof. You
Oh
can't kill
man,
those. What a great engine!
yeah, that thing, yeah, killer.
The Ford 302, wonderful little
Good.
platform.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome
I think
engine.
any straight six, I think just by the design alone is why they're so good. Because if you think about, the straight Chevy, the slant six for the Mopar,
The slant sixes, yeah.
they're just great, and I think it's because of how the pistons work and how all that. The wear is just not as bad.
Well, the Dodge went back to a straight six, turbocharged, right? That's what's replacing the Hemi. We'll see how well it replaces it, but
one of the most dependable, and of course this is a lot of opinion based, but there's also some facts behind it. The most dependable, most reliable engine out there is the straight six Cummins.
Yeah,
them things go lots of miles.
I will definitely back you up on that one.
I'll back you up on that one. I'm not a diesel guy, but man, those things they go and they go and they go. Now, more so the older versions.
The 5.9s or whatever.
The 5.9s.
Mechanicals.
I can't remember. I got it in the manual somewhere there, but one of the options that the 79 Dodge trucks had was a straight six diesel that was made, I think, by Mitsubishi, and there was a very short run of them. And there's a reason why there was a very short run of those engines. But seeing a lot of people that would end up with that have taken the setup, the same idea with a straight six diesel and running a modern Cummins in them, like those trucks are amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's the best. You got the old with the new, and the truck will die before the engine ever does.
Well, have you guys watched Zip Ties and Bias Plies?
Not really.
Not sometimes. When I want, no, not really.
Like he's the redneck out in the Alberta guy, right? But he had a freaking awesome Ford truck with a diesel in it. Like we're talking a 70, I can't remember. It was about a 77 or something like that. I don't know the exact year. He put a diesel in that thing with the cheap Chinese turbos. I think he blew 3 turbos up on it, but you guys got to watch that thing go because that was a monster. Like it was awesome. Miles of Mayhem. And he was running it with he's with DD Speed Shop and those guys. And if you check out DD Speed Shop, his buddy Josh put a Coyote in a 55 Bel Air. Might have been a 56 Bel Air.
That was pretty cool.
And he's running that, and that thing's gnarly, man. Like
I bet.
There's some good videos to watch on that Miles of Mayhem if you go check out those guys. Like because that and I do a walk around that Tri-5 with the Coyote in it. But to hear that thing run, that thing's got a nasty rap to it. It was pretty cool. I loved it. I loved going up and seeing that. Like, I love the Tri-5s, but I don't care what you put in it, man. You want to put a Hemi in it, you want to put a Ford in it, you build a nice Chevy for it. I don't care. Just it's your car. Do what you want. I'm not brand loyal enough to say. I get a little bit of that way with the Pontiacs, maybe, but for the most
but you're
part,
talking about putting a Hemi in a Pontiac, so
yeah, I am.
Like the old Tri-5s. I always loved the 2-door gassers.
Yeah, and that's what this is. It's a two-door gasser with a Coyote in it and a manual shift.
Yeah. I mean, of all the gassers that were out there, for me, again, personal opinion, but the look of those Bel Airs was just perfect for the gassers.
Oh, they are. They've always, ever since I was a kid, I want a 57 Chevy. Now, personal preference, if you could take the exterior of a 57 and put the interior of a 55 or 56, perfect car. I don't like the interiors, the dash all that much in the 57 compared to love the rounded dashes.
Like the look of it.
You're gonna hate this, man, because every day I get to see them. 2 doors down from me, there's an old guy, Fred, and his collection of classics. He loves the Tri-5s. And then Woody, I used to do a few shows with Woody. So they've got a 56, I think. I think it's a 56. But yeah, what was
how close are you guys to each other?
What was the hatchback called there?
The Nomad?
I'm closer
Nomad.
to you
The
than I am
Nomad.
to him.
Okay, so you're on the East Coast, I take it then, Piss?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I'm almost as far east as you can go.
Far east as you can go. What part of Nova
Canada's
Scotia are you
Canada.
in?
It's just this big, right?
I'm down by well, Greenwood is the Air Force base that I'm close to. So I'm in the Annapolis Valley. And if I drive not even an hour, I'm hitting the Atlantic. 15 minutes and I got the Bay of Fundy.
So are you down by see, I was born in Antigonish. That's
Antigonish.
Yeah. So that's where my family and stuff is from. But I think you're down more towards well, not far from Halifax, really, right?
I'm halfway basically between Halifax and Yarmouth.
In Yarmouth, okay.
Yeah, and like Middletown is literally that. It was the old train stop halfway between the two major hubs.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got an uncle that lives actually down close to Oak Island. Where, geez, I can't remember the name of the communities in, but so I was out there visiting him a few years ago.
Chester?
No, I think it starts with an H. Hope.
Transport? No, that's closer to me.
Horton?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all farther down south, right?
Cletus, man, there's a lot of towns that have port in them right where I'm at.
Yeah.
You can't throw a rock without hitting one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just know about Tim. I just heard about Tim Hortons. I don't want to say I know about it. I've heard about Tim Hortons. It's like Canada as you can get. So
we don't do Tim Hortons that much anymore. Well, I do because they're close to me.
Yeah.
But like I live in a town with 1,800 people, 800 in the town, and then within the municipality, there's 1,800 total. But like I've got a Tim's just down the road, walking distance, and the next closest coffee shop that's worth going to is about a 25-minute drive from here, which for those that live in a city doesn't seem like much, but 40-kilometer round trip to get coffee is just not worth it at 11 at night.
Yeah. See, and where I'm out in the country, I'm about half hour from any major town or city. So
you're close to Red Deer, right?
No, I'm in close to Calgary.
Okay, so you know Lethbridge then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my old stomping grounds. That's where I grew up.
Well, I'm in Vulcan County is where I'm at.
Vulcan.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is the Enterprise still up there?
It's still up there. Yeah.
Wicked.
But the Trek stations moved to Drumheller for it. I guess they didn't have enough, and they wanted to put it with all the dinosaurs, which is kind of weird. But
yeah,
do they have Tim Hortons? Do they have Tim Hortons in the States?
Yep.
Yes.
You got about 800 or 900 Tim Hortons, and
they even have one in they did have one in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
On the
I don't remember
base.
that. So when I was in Kandahar, which was a NATO base, there was some Canadians there, but I remember they may have had Tim Hortons and I never went because I used to go to the French cafe because they had the best croissants.
You remember the boardwalk?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So the Tim Hortons opened up there, right? And they opened up, this was like halfway through like my second tour there.
By Subway or over on the other side by the French cafe?
Other side of Subway.
Okay.
And so they were just on the corner there, right? Mm-hmm. But they were going to open up somewhere else. So here's my mentality, and civilians, no offense to civvies, but civilians who are brand new to Afghanistan, and rocket attacks are nothing new to us.
Yeah.
And so the day that they opened up, we just happened to be there, and we walk in and we get this story of, well, where we were supposed to open up was hit by a rocket. Like they were expecting a reaction from me. My response was, that would have been a shame. There would have been Timbits everywhere. Didn't think it was funny, not one bit.
So what year was Tim Hortons over there?
06 it opened up.
Let's see, I would have been there. When was I there? That'd have been 08. I was there.
You were there in 08? I was there in 08 too.
09, yeah. In Kandahar.
So I was there. Yeah, I was there when it opened up. I was there in 08. Wow, that was a long time ago now.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's probably
Were you at a calf the whole time?
No. I was there for, I don't know, 6 months probably. But.
Yeah, we were there maybe every month and a half, 2 months. We'd be there for a day or two, and then we were back out.
Oh, yeah. No, I was closer to Bagram. Well, I say that. It was called Sharana, where I was.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
That's where I was at most of the time. So
for us, that was the main hub,
I like
of flying in and out, and yeah. But we rarely went in. We were all along the Argandab.
Well, Kandahar was cool because NATO. You had all these places you could go. You could go eat, food from, the French or wherever.
The Dutch were good.
Yeah. What was cool, what I didn't like about Kandahar, I say, it was really cool, but what I didn't like is it was hot like Iraq. It's like, oh. But the rest of Afghanistan wasn't, especially if you get closer to Russia or closer to China area.
Yeah,
closer
where
that
you
way
were,
anyway.
Yeah.
It got in the negatives and stuff. So
the closest we came was probably around the Christmas time when it would try and snow, but it was just coming down as rain. But trying to explain to people back home, like, yeah, it's 63, 64 during the day Celsius.
Sure.
And people are coming down with hypothermia because you're out there and you're going from 63, 65 during the day to 27 to 30 at night. That's a huge drop in temperature. Right?
Yeah,
sure.
And it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And not to mention all that sweat that you had built up is now that convection is taking the heat right out of your body.
So Bryce, Kandahar, Afghanistan, would get pretty much as hot as Iraq, which is between 120, 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But the rest of Afghanistan didn't really. It was like in Sharana, I don't think it ever got above 85. It was nice. You had the snow-covered mountains, the snow-capped mountains, and the wind would come off of it. Boy, it's great. I loved it.
But see, what we were lucky with is the heat that we had. For us, the only benefit was it was always a dry heat.
It was very dry.
Dry as a bone, right? And so
just like where Bryce lives, just dry heat. So hot is hot. It don't matter if it's 100 or 120. It's the same. It's just hot.
There are other places we went to, and you would even 10 or 15% humidity, and you were dying.
Oh, well, think about Kuwait. I don't know if you've ever been to Kuwait, but oh my God, it's just as hot. But you got the Gulf right there and all the humidity. Oh my God!
And if you're there during the storm season,
oh yeah, dust storm. Yep.
You want flash floods. You got a place that advertised itself as a desert, and then with the snap of a finger. So we went from, again, Celsius 55 during the day, and then we knew it was going to rain at night. We would have these lightning storms and everything coming in. Imagine being in the middle of Kuwait in the middle of summer, 55 degrees Celsius during the day, and then in about 2 hours, as the sun is setting, not only does the storm come through, but you've got hail and snow coming down. Hail in the middle of a desert that was knocking the hell out of everything. Winds going sideways. And then the next morning, dry as a bone. And it's rinse and repeat. Do it again and again and again. Oh, yeah. It was miserable. The only thing that didn't go was that muggy.
Yeah.
Melt your brain.
It's like California. In Florida. California and Florida.
I've been to Florida.
It's muggy, right? It's
yeah.
But the worst place I've been for that is India. Holy jumpins!
I've never been to India.
I read what Leighton had put in right now. Yeah, that's no joke with the heat waves going through without AC.
Yeah,
I've been to Germany a few times. I could see that they don't have air conditioning there.
The heat waves going through Europe right now are nothing.
Well, back in the summer anyway. I don't know if they're still having them, but
yeah.
But yeah, it was stupid hot. They didn't know what to do.
Well, it's even here it was unusually hot for the time.
Yeah, where was it? New York and stuff. I guess it doesn't get very hot there. People don't have a bunch of air conditioners. They said it was stupid hot. So
we were hitting about, for a solid month, we were getting about 32 to 33 degrees Celsius. I'll do the conversion here.
90, 95, 100, somewhere in there.
96, 97 degrees.
With the Humidex, it was feeling like 40, 41 degrees. And you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bryce, I don't know when I'm going to do the Trans Am. I do need to restore that car, but it's one of those things that I don't want to just put it on the road again. It's probably something that'll never get on the road again because I want to do it right. and I probably never will have the money to do it right, but we'll see.
You putting a 5.3 in that one?
Heck no, that thing's keeping the 400 in it.
Oh.
He's talking about my 78 Trans Am.
Oh, 78. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm thinking your 90s Trans or 80s. Is it 88
Yeah.
or 92?
I got 88 Trans Am, yeah. And I got a 99 Trans Am as well, but that one's staying factory.
That one's saying factory?
Yeah. Because that's
No,
all
yeah,
the
the one
LS1
getting the LS is pretty cool.
6
Well,
speed.
the 99, does it have it? It has a LT1, right?
LS1.
LS1.
Yeah, with the 6-speed. So it's got the T56. It's got the LS1, and I ordered that car from the factory, brand new. So
your cars, and what you're telling me is you got so many projects, you don't know when any of them's going to get back on the road.
pretty much, yeah. Well, you know what? I get something in here where like the trucks are kind of I work on a truck. I register it, I insure it, I drive it for a while, I enjoy it, and then I sell it and then get another truck. And those are the things that kind of, you know what, they can pay some bills or for projects or whatever. And I can make a couple grand off of them easy. Like that. And that's one of the reasons I like the Hemi so much is I can make anywhere from 5 to 10 grand off a truck, depending on what I pick it up for.
Especially
and what I
down
put
here,
into it.
trucks carry a lot of money, so I don't know how much to do up there, but trucks are definitely the way to go because everybody uses them too. You get the crew cabs that family uses. You got, single cabs that people still drive and stuff. So they're pretty big. Y'all do 2-wheel drive trucks up there or all 4-wheel drive?
I tend to stick with 4-wheel drive trucks because they sell a lot better.
We don't have snow or ice down here. Usually we do occasionally, but so 2-wheel drives are fine down here.
Yeah, you know what? I drove a 2-wheel drive truck for 10 years. My 92 GMC truck. That was my daily driver for a long time. The only thing I did to it was put a posi in it. And as soon as I put the posi in it, it was just about as good as a 4-wheel drive. As long as I had good tires and the posi. Like I was in a field one time and was looking, some guy had a brand new Ford 4x4 sitting there spinning all his tires. I had good tires on my truck. I dropped it in drive and pulled away and left. Let him sit there spinning all 4 tires. So
yeah. I remember the 79 D150. That was the first truck where my wife, I taught her how to drive a truck, right? Not that she didn't know how to drive it, but just kind of the nuances of a full body or a full bed truck. And it was wintertime and we had good tires on it. And I took her to an empty parking lot. I said, all right, so here's what it's like when the back end breaks out on you, just ease into the turn and then just pin it and let the truck slide out on you, get a feel for it. Could not get it to break.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, that lesson's over. Great tires.
On the older vehicles, did they used to have titles up there where you are?
Mm-hmm.
No, with titles?
Titles, yeah.
No, we don't have titles.
I know you don't now. I'm saying on the old vehicles. Did it used to?
No, I don't think we ever had titles per se.
I know out here we did.
I just seen iSpider or Bryce talking about bringing it down there. I'm like, well, if it's like the newer vehicles, you're not going to have a title.
When we picked up that 79, we got it from the original owner and still had all the old paperwork and everything inside of it. And back in 79, they had a title. Also had the warranty card for the radio. And I thought it'd be fun to send it to Chrysler and be like, can I still get it? No. Apparently something about it expired. Whatever.
So I'm going to guess maybe it was built for the United States and was brought to Canada.
It was a federal standard truck. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a difference.
I see vehicles all the time that'll come across to the auction over here. And you're like, boy, why is that vehicle not doing so? Man, I could buy that easy. It should, 2020 Jeep or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, gosh, why is that like 12 grand? That should be way up there. And then you start looking and it says previous Canadian vehicle. So automatically I'm like, no title there. It's so hard to get a title.
Yeah.
When it didn't have one from the beginning or whatever, that I don't even mess with them.
It's really easy for us to get stuff from the US up here. Really easy. It's almost like you guys have done all the work for us. We just take it to where we get our licensing and registration done. And like, yep.
So if y'all bought something from the US that didn't have a title, could y'all still register it and everything?
Yep.
That again, it's not an issue. They would just run the VIN and verify that it wasn't stolen.
What's
That's
stolen,
their big thing, is making sure that it's a legit sale.
So if y'all
Long
were
as
looking
you've done
for
a bill of sale.
old vehicles like 60s and 70s and 80s, it wouldn't be a problem if it didn't have a title in.
Not at all.
That Mach
See, around
1,
here, you can buy cars real cheap without a title. But
that Mach 1 I'm working on right now, it wouldn't have had a title, but it doesn't matter up here. It's like you said, as long as it's not stolen and it's a valid VIN, you can register it, insure it, away you go.
The hardest thing for me, for example, is like these old bikes, right? So I've got the T100. That was easy to register. The TRW, same thing. But like the Triton, where it's going to be just the frame, and the frame isn't going to match the engine. I tried to do some homework, and you can tell that they're not really popular. Maybe not anymore, because trying to explain that Triton isn't a brand. It's a combination of Triumph and Norton. And which number do you want to run? Do you want me to register it with the engine number or the frame number? They said, well, it's the same thing. No, it's not. And when you have any kind of classic like that, where you're mixing and matching, it becomes very, very difficult because the frame has no history to it.
Yeah.
Whereas it was always, because it's always registered under the engine's stamped number. When you introduce a different frame into it, now that opens up a whole other can of worms, and it's a long, lengthy process. Because
so if it's under the engine number, if you had to replace the engine, then you're going to go with the new engine you found. Is that what it is?
You're supposed to.
See, our system works a fair bit different than down there. Like,
sure.
You know, you get a lot of those guys that they'll go pick up a vehicle and they'll drive it across. They'll do the rescue, drive it across the states. We can't do that.
No, you're not really supposed to do that here, unless you have a like me. I'll have a dealer plate or whatever. You can kind of just throw it on and it's fine. Here, I guess you could. You have 30 days to register the vehicle.
Yeah, well, we do have a 30-day to register it, but there's rules around it. Like technically, to take advantage of that, you still need to be insured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to be insured here.
Yeah, and then you have to technically have sold your previous vehicle and using that plate to put onto the new purchase. Then you got 30 days to transfer.
So you can't just buy another vehicle without selling one and still drive it across?
Well, you can. You can just get a new plate, but then you're not supposed to do that. Like if you have a second vehicle or it's a second vehicle, then you're really not supposed to do the 30-day window thing. You're supposed to go get a brand new plate or a transit sticker.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's for your cars. Now for the motorcycles, it's a little bit frustrating because again, it's based provincial, kind of like in the US where you got state to state differences, right?
Yeah.
So the T100, when I was purchased, that was a local purchase and it had all the paperwork that was required with it. Now the bike itself was going to be a long-term project. For me to purchase the vehicle wasn't an issue. I didn't want to get a plate on it, so I didn't require insurance for that bike. But I had a year to get it registered. If I didn't register it within the first year, then I would have to go back and basically get paperwork from the person that sold it to me and reapply for it. And they put so much work into that. It's a lot more complicated than that, but it's almost like you're being punished for not registering it for a year. It's to entice people to get it done right away so that something isn't sitting there without insurance. But again, if it's a project bike, it's kind of counterintuitive because I'm not going to ride this thing until it's finished. That could take anywhere from 1 to say 5 years. So why would I pay for 5 years worth of registration, right?
And insure, yeah.
If it's a bike where, for example, like you said, if I swap the engine out, so modern bikes are a different story, but the classic bikes where the engine is stamped, what I would have to do is if I blow the engine and I can't repair the engine and the casings and I have to replace it, then that new registration number, I have to get a vehicle inspector to not only take a look at the swap and say, okay, so you did go from this to this. So I see both physical engines. You are still in care and control of this engine. It's written off. Then that information has to go up to make sure that nobody can ever use that engine's registration number ever again. Once that's been approved, I've got a certain time, a window time frame to be able to do that. Then once that check in the box is done, I take all that paperwork back to the registrar's office, and then I can get a brand new registration that says it has now been replaced with this engine. The downside
so you
to that
couldn't later on, you couldn't go back and rebuild that engine. It's done.
No. If I do rebuild that engine, then you're reversing the entire process. And it's the exact same process as what you had just done to replace that. So it's striking these numbers off, right? The downside to it is that if you don't do it properly and you're looking to sell a bike later on, one of the worst things that you could have on a bike is no known mileage. And if you don't properly address the mileage issue with it, and the bike turns into no known mileage, then that is stuck with that bike forever and a day. And no matter what I've ever tried, I can't prove that this is the actual mileage on the bike.
See, in the US, after 10 years, it's exempt. It don't matter if it has 1 mile or 1,000,000 miles. It's just write exempt on it.
We still keep the mileage on ours, no matter what the age is.
Yep.
The TRW almost ran into that issue, and where it came down was the person at the registrar's office didn't believe that the bike had this little bit of mileage on it, and so to have to go through and show, I had the person that I purchased the bike from BC send me pictures of when it came out of the crate, and the mileage that it had on the odometer, which was 0.9 of a mile, which is what Smiths used to test the gauge out. Showing, look, this is back in the 70s when it came out of the crate. This is the same bike, same everything, the whole 9 yards. Here's the history of all the registration and paperwork for the bike. This is still what it has for mileage. So that is still in the process of trying to get rectified. It's frustrating, but it's just to show that, yeah, okay, this is the mileage on the bike, and I didn't put a new odometer on it, or I didn't put a new speedo with the odometer on it, and I'm lying about the mileage, because that is a huge part. The worst part of it is, from a classic perspective, this is why it's so important, is that when you get it insured, you can get it insured for blue book value or black book value. But the better appraisal is an antique appraisal or classic appraisal, so that you're actually getting closer to what Haggerty would be putting up for the value of the bike, right? But mileage is a huge factor with that, because low mileage versus high mileage. And in some projects, that could be a difference of a couple $100. In other projects, that could be thousands of dollars based on how low the mileage is of that project, right? And so a little bit of paperwork and administrative misunderstanding can cost you hundreds to thousands of dollars down the road if you're looking to sell that classic later on. Wow. And that's where the system really isn't set up to support classic vehicles and classic motorcycles like it should be.
The system up here is garbage, honestly. Like, and we got a lot of stupid rules too. For example, flood or fire, it's done. It's never on the road.
You can't rebuild it.
Never.
Same thing with hail damage.
Really?
Yep.
So it's just a parts car after that?
Yep.
But you can buy it back from the insurance company
as a parts vehicle.
Yes, but if you ever try to put it on the road,
well, here
that's where Alberta
total or they'll total it out. So then you'll get I forgot what the title's called, but then after you're finished repairing it, you can get a rebuilt title.
Well, we got rebuilt titles.
Salvage titles, what you get before the rebuilt car.
You got rebuilt, or we call them rebuilt titles, salvage titles. But for flood, you can't do that, period. And for fire, you can't do that, period. You can use every single part off of that except for the VIN.
Oh, wow.
It is so stupid, because they don't take into account, like, let's say a 69 Camaro gets water up to the floorboards. That's it. That car's done, never to be on the road again.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And they don't take into account, like, what people go through to restore it. You know, people will take these things apart, acid dip the body.
Something hard to find like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they'll acid dip the body and rebuild the thing, every nut and bolt. It doesn't matter that thing.
Horse. I mean,
yeah. At that point, it does not matter that car was flooded.
Sure.
It just doesn't matter. But it also doesn't matter to them. They don't care.
So for hail damage, you could do it though, right? I mean, you could get
hail damage is different with the provinces, I think, because in Alberta, you can get what's called a cosmetic write-off. Now, this is kind of cool, because what they'll do is they'll write off the vehicle and call it a cosmetic write-off.
Okay.
So you can't put full coverage on it, but you can still put basic insurance coverage on it. You get the payout, and you get to still drive the car. So
in other provinces, now here's the flip side of it. You can have hail damage all over your car. If you don't have a single dent in your A, B, or C pillars, you're okay. The moment that you get one bit of damage to any of that structurally, it's compromised and it's a write-off.
They call it structural damage. Wow.
Yeah. So we learned this the hard way. We were in Manitoba. Manitoba, in my opinion, is one of the most backwards provinces when it comes to insurance. So she had hail damage. Now, we put the car underneath, and to be fair, it was a hell of a hit, but we had put the car underneath the carport that she was at, right? She was out of town at the time, and so we wheeled her car in and got underneath there, and everything's fine. One of the hailstones had gone through the roof. It was large enough to go through that tin roof and impact right at the top corner where the A-pillar meets the roof and the windshield. That was the only hit. The whole car, structural write-off.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, yeah. There are some, being out here, there are some benefits. So if I ever want to do any kind of modification, it's very easy for me to call up the overall vehicle inspector. So we group 3 provinces because they're a smaller population together. And each one of them has basically a vehicular engineer, if you will. They're qualified to be able to look at something and say, okay, this modification is sound. Or if you're rebuilding,
so you have
something,
to get all your modifications inspected?
Not all. If you're returning it back to what it was, then typically it's no problem. If you're doing anything that affects the vehicle's height.
So if you wanted to raise the vehicle or lower the vehicle or put different exhaust on the vehicle or any of that,
got to have it looked at.
Wow.
But the best thing is I can just call them up and be like, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. I can send you pictures and I'll send you an email. Do you mind looking at it? No problem. You send them that, they write you back. And when it comes time to get your vehicle inspected, it's already been approved. Nobody asks any questions. Right? Sorry, go ahead, man.
The other thing that's kind of odd between the provinces is modifying vehicles. One of the first things an insurance company will ask you, has this been modified for speed or performance? And if you answer yes to that question, good luck getting insurance.
Oh, boy. Well, see, down here, every state's different, just like every province is different there, right? So in Arkansas, we don't have a state inspection anymore. And people take that to heart, man. You'll see stuff driving down the road. You're like, whoa, that should not be on the road.
We don't have one in Alberta either. We have a provincial, like if you bring something from out of the province, then you have to get it inspected. But once your car is inspected and registered, as long as that registration stays on it, you don't ever have to get it inspected again. Now, if it's over 13 years old and it transfers owners, then you have to do an insurance inspection. But that's really, do the lights work? Is the windshield cracked? It's not much. So as long as the car is fairly sound, away you go. But like I said, once you get the inspection done and you stay the owner, you never have to get that vehicle inspected again.
With classics here, so with the classic motorcycle, for example, and classic cars, you can get antique plates on them if they're past 20 years and they meet certain criteria.
Yep.
Now, they're going to have the vehicle inspected to make sure it's sound for the road. Anybody who does a regular inspection is supposed to be able to do this, but a lot of people will also steer away from that. And I understand why, because the onus is put on the owner to keep the vehicle mechanically sound. You can see the issues already creeping up here, right?
Yep.
But with the TRW, for example, the guy took a look at it, took it for a rip, and he said, all right, you're good to go. That's it. I don't need to have an inspection sticker, nothing like that. It's got antique plates. The antique plates, though, come with a bit of a caveat. So it works out with the bikes because we don't ride all season. So you can't ride it or drive it.
Be your daily driver. Right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing with antique plates here.
And you have to go to a car show or an event like that. That's the only time you can use it.
You're supposed to.
The other asterisk is you can drive it for a test ride.
Mm-hmm.
The TRW needs about 30 minutes of maintenance before you ride it and about an hour and a half after you ride it, because I'm very, tiring and pedantic. So it's a test ride.
You'll see 113 talking crap about the Volvo there, huh?
But as soon as you take that and it transfers owners, now the whole process started all over again. If you take that and it goes to a different province, it really depends on what that province states for its antique plates, right?
Right.
There's a bunch of other
like
things.
Here, the antique in Arkansas now is 40 years. It used to be 25. But if you go to Oklahoma, I think theirs is 30. So
well,
it may be antique here or there, not here or whatever. So.
See, here it's dependent on the insurance company. what their rules are for the antique vehicle.
So y'all's insurance kind of runs everything, huh? Tells you
Some
can't
provinces
do
are
this.
public, some are private as well. So that offers a little
Insurance
bit
is
of difficulty.
public and private.
You can have some provinces will have public, some will have private.
BC, for
Ooh,
example,
I hate that.
all public insurance. Alberta is private.
Wow, I would hate that because then you got the government telling you what you can and can't do.
And
Now,
that's the
what
problem with
I'm
BC.
hoping for is Haggerty is looking at, and they're getting a lot of good replies on motorcycles. So we don't have classic motorcycle insurance from Haggerty for motorcycles yet. Haggerty came in and they bought out a couple of other insurance companies, and the underwriters are doing everything that they can, which would be absolutely fantastic because then Haggerty Insurance is going to be, aside from a province like BC or Manitoba, you can have it and there's no issues.
Yep.
Trying to get classic insurance of any type out here, unless you have that classic vehicle appraisal in Nova Scotia, it's the same insurance as you would have anywhere else. And then the motorcycles bring in a different realm. So Wamanisa Insurance is an insurance company that actually started out in Western Canada. They're the ones that insure classic motorcycles out here more than anybody else because they've already got everything set up. So it works out well because nobody that is a privately owned insurance company wants to touch a classic motorcycle.
So does y'all's government do a kickback or tax break for electric vehicles?
Yes and no.
They just changed the law here, and that's why I was kind of bringing it up. If it is built in North America, so Mexico, Canada, United States, as long as it's American, right? Then you will get the tax break. It used to be any vehicle. Now it's only if it's built in America, North America.
You don't want to get me started on electric vehicles.
I like electric vehicles. I don't think we're ready for it to be, the only vehicle out there. I think it's a great start.
I think they're a neat fad.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Maybe.
a neat toy, and they should not be pushed, though.
To answer about the government kickbacks, so we have both provincial and federal level kickbacks. What we found very quickly is that these kickbacks are done in such a way that they're very specific as to how you get the kickback. So price ranges, for example, if you get a full EV that is worth $45,000 Canadian or less, you get X amount of dollars. If it's worth more, then you're not getting it, right? Or it.
But it's the same thing here. Cars can't go above this certain price, so you won't get it. Trucks and SUVs can't go above this certain price. I think it's $80,000.
Good luck buying an EV for under $45,000.
For cars here, I believe it's 50 brand new ones. Now they also the new rules they just changed that are going to affect, I believe next month. You can now get it for a used car here in the United States.
I heard about that.
$4,000 kickback. And of course it has to meet has to be a plug-in hybrid or it can't be a regular hybrid. It has to be plug-in hybrid or plug-in electric car.
Yeah.
There's other things that has to meet.
Well, that's nice because now they're giving you $1,000 towards replacing the $10,000 battery pack you're going to need in a year or two.
So the video I'm about to come out with on this hybrid right here.
Yeah.
You don't have to replace the whole battery pack once on the back. You replace each cell, or it's not that expensive. I've done it on a Prius before. It costs like $80 or something. It's nothing. So I guess most people, you're right. They couldn't.
We've run into a big problem with our electric situation here with the used side of the house, because one thing that people have brought up was with a gasser, you rate the quality of the gasser. You can have your body inspection, sure, but it's always the mileage. Whereas EVs, mileage doesn't matter worth a thing. It's the battery condition, but nobody is set up to actually measure properly the battery condition. So if you can't register how the battery condition is actually measured up and where it rates and what the expected lifespan is, so how does that affect the value of an EV that has that battery pack in it? So that's been a major stickler on how you're going to deal with used vehicles. And it's being used as an excuse. In my opinion, it's being used as an excuse to delay this whole thing because, used EVs don't depreciate nearly as much as anything else. But if you go and you want to sell one through a garage, you say, well, okay, well, what's the battery life? What's the battery condition? Well, we can't measure it.
All you could do is inspect
what are you basing your prices?
It's not leaking. You could test it and make sure it holds the charge. That's about all you could do.
They can't even do that. A lot of shops can't even do that.
Oh, wow.
We don't have the infrastructure for charging. We don't have the infrastructure to support it. We don't have shops we have shops that will not touch an EV because they don't have people trained in it. So liability insurance won't cover that shop if something goes wrong.
Midnight, as far as the new law for the used car market lowering the class, maybe to get the up to $4,000 credit, the vehicle has to be $25,000 or less. So if it's $26,000, you're not going to get it. So it will kind of hopefully even out the used car market, which is stupid right now. Cars are still stupid expensive. As far as disposing of old batteries, you actually get money for old batteries. So if you have some old battery, even your old your starter battery, your own regular battery for a car, you could take and sell that battery to the scrapyard or take it to O'Reilly's and get credit. It's going to be the same thing with these. They're actually worth money because they'll, rebuild them.
Well, I don't know about the lithium ions and the cobalt and all that. I'm sure it's got to be worth something, but the lead acid, you've always had a core charge on those, but they deplete because it's still got lead in it. No matter what, that battery still got the lead in it. But the newer battery technology, they consume the materials as they deplete themselves. So it should be interesting seeing how they recycle. They need to come up with a good recycling program for that stuff.
I like EVs. I think they're cool. I do not think that everybody should switch to them right now. Switch to it. Don't I think we still need ICE vehicles, of course. I don't think that's going away in our lifetime. We're definitely, and I don't know about Canada, but the United States is certainly not ready for everybody to drive.
No, nor is Canada. And
now there is new technology.
There
is new technology where batteries charge themselves and all that kind of stuff. That they're you'll see it coming out. But
it's a really interesting subject because we've up here not too far away from us. There's Dalhousie University just got a contract with Tesla along with a patent for developing million-mile batteries with new technology. So it's moving forward, which is great. We do have a company, All EV Canada. They are pretty much the premier EV car group. And they are really good at servicing and selling used EVs and new EVs, but also servicing the battery packs.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, even if it's a couple of cells within one of the units of the battery pack that needs to be replaced, the actual proper disposal of that, there isn't anything currently set up. They're piggybacking on the way that car batteries and everything were done. Now, as the EV market expands and you've got vehicles that were around, say, in the early 2010s or 2011, 2012 range, where they've got battery packs right now, yes, they're pulled, they're sitting on the side, but that technology is so outdated that nobody wants to use them and they can't use them as a replacement. So the proper disposal methods in Eastern Canada, unless they can be recycled, they are sitting waiting for a proper method of disposal so that it doesn't cause any environmental issues. Again, we don't have the infrastructure in Canada yet.
Oh, and not to mention, the big problem with EVs is I don't have a problem with the EVs themselves. They have some very neat aspects to them. What I have a problem with is the lies pushing the EVs and half-truths and all that. That's where I start to get a problem. And Dr.
Where they start talking about how much better for the environment it is.
Right. And you're looking at a little picture of it. But when you start getting into like Dr. Art actually brought up a very good point, and he's not wrong, unfortunately, is that you've got these dirty mines all over the world where they use child labor and everything else. And everyone that built the EVs, they went on a big push to get away from those. And they did for a while.
Sure.
But then all that's happened is there's a middle company that came in that was clean for a while. We only get it from ethically sourced materials and stuff like that. And so all the companies started buying their product batteries from that company. I'm not going to say the name here, but then that company found out they couldn't meet the supply. So they start going back to these dirty mines and getting materials from them. But that is something no one will tell you about unless you start digging. And the resources that it takes to get some of the bigger mines and stuff like that, like they are dirty, man. They're very and tell you what, build me an EV car without oil products. Good luck. You still need oil.
Well, yeah, I don't think we'll ever not need oil.
Plastic tires, everything else, you still need all that. So it's a big freaking scam as far as I'm concerned.
Here's the balance that we need to maintain, right? We need to cut back on how many fossil fuels we're burning. We don't need to absolutely eliminate it. And like you said, I'm not trying to stand on a soapbox here. You will always need plastics. You will always need oils. You'll need those petroleum products. The idea that EVs are going to 100% replace ICE vehicles is absolutely absurd right now. And
It's a falsehood.
it was one of the points I was going to make, but Midnight made it there a few minutes ago. Out here, the situation that we have, a large majority of people can't afford the cost of even a used EV on the cheap side of the house. You've got a lot of people who are driving a car that if it lasts them a year to get to and from work, that's good. And then they're going to drop that, sell it for scrap or metal or whatever it may be, and then pick up another car for $500 to $1,000 that'll last them. You can't force people to get a vehicle, even with all the government incentives. They can't afford it. And that's the honest truth about it. So,
but what they're trying to do here is they're trying to make it so you can't afford the traditional ICE vehicles. That's a big problem. And they're doing it in the States as well. Like, there's no reason for fuel to be as high as it is. None. Absolutely none in North America. It should be, like down in the States, it should still be around $2 a gallon. It's all political. And I'm not going to get into the big politics of it, but the simple fact of the matter is we have the resources to keep the prices low if we wanted to, but they don't want to. That's what it boils down to. And that's kind of where I start getting irritated. Obviously, you can see by my reactions by the EVs. Now, don't get me wrong. The performance aspects of an EV are freaking amazing. And if that's what you want, great. Go out and buy it. Enjoy your EV. But if you're going to try to sell me that, hey, it's better for the environment, go away, because you're full of it. They're not. And the infrastructure is just not there. Not to mention that, guess what's going to happen once they phase out the gasoline? Where's most of our infrastructure tax come from? A lot of it comes from the tax on
gasoline tax.
So where are they going to put that tax?
And when I say that I like EVs, I'm not saying let's replace everything. I think we should have EVs, ICE vehicles,
absolutely,
hydrogen vehicles. We should have all these. There's nothing to say we need this vehicle because we don't have anything out yet
this vehicle
that can support one type of vehicle.
Mm-hmm. But again, going back to my other point, what's going to happen when the taxes are not there on the fuel anymore? They're going to start taxing electricity. And how are you going to separate that from your house and your business and everything else that uses electricity? You don't. So guess what?
We're already seeing that with a lot of things, right? Like, so I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, right? I got a 2015 Volt. We use that as a daily driver to and from work, and it's great. We put it's a 30-liter tank. We put in gas in that maybe once a month, but most of the time, we're driving to and from work, which is great. If I've got to go further, I'm using the gasoline out of the engine because there isn't a single place that I can sit for any period of time to charge up that vehicle.
Yep.
Now, it is very fuel efficient. It is. But that hybrid, I think, is a good example of, weighing out the pros and cons with where technology is right now to say, realistically, okay, as a simple little delivery vehicle around town, as a to and from work, very practical with the infrastructure we have right now. Very practical. If I need to go to Ottawa with that car, the first 70 kilometers are going to be electric. Then after that, it's all gasser.
Yep.
Now, it's very efficient again, but I don't have the ability to charge that up. And until we see vehicles that are hitting the same kind of mileage as a gasser, it may sound like a moot point when somebody says, well, I can't get the range out of it. Well, if they're bringing that up as a point, that's because the range is something they need to consider with their vehicles.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of the comments. I like Bryce's comment here, but well, that's one of my video ideas that I'd like to do in the future is I want to take my Charger, my 2011 Charger, and I want to take a Tesla, and I want to drive from Alberta Calgary to Vancouver. And I want to do it twice. First time will be in the summer, and the next time it'll be in the winter. And I'd like to record the results unbiased and see, just to show, hey, this is how much time it took me to get here. This is how much it cost me, etc., right? And then do it again in the winter and see what happens.
So again, I love my Volt. In the summertime, when it's nice summer temperatures out here, about 31, 32 Celsius, I'm getting about 70 to 75 kilometers on a charge. When it is minus 15, yes, it still works great, but I'm getting 35 to 40 kilometers a charge.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference percentage-wise.
Difference, right?
Huge difference.
Yeah.
And that is where in the wintertime, I am burning fuel because I am driving it to the point where the battery is now running out on my drive home. If I've got to stop to go somewhere for groceries or anything like that, it's another thing to take into consideration.
Yeah.
Now, all this said, one of the fun things that I'm hopefully trying to do to kind of mix in the new with the old, especially if you're an old Fallout fan, after these bikes, after the current projects are done, I want to see about making a retro futuristic 1950s styled motorcycle that is electric, kind of like from the old Atomic era.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of home built bikes that are electric. I've seen a lot of the electric bikes that are out there right now. There's a lot of really neat things that are there. But that's a completely impractical. I'm not going to be using it as a daily driver kind of bike. It's just more of a project to see what I can do.
Fun. Yeah. Fair enough.
And have my fun with it. But one of the coolest conversations I had on the channel, and the video was still up when I was interviewing David Giles from All EV Canada. This guy's an old gearhead. He loved his old Mustangs, muscle cars, everything else. So it was talking about, okay, where are EVs at? Where are they moving? How do they work? But also let's talk about if somebody wants to convert a classic to an electric. And it is not as straightforward and easy as it may seem,
There's people that have done it. Like I've seen a lot of
but that
classic
is
Mustang, and that's
we
cool.
priced out the Ram Charger after the fact. Like, how much would it be to convert the Ram Charger to an electric? Now, first of all, if the frame met the torque for what that can put out, that's one thing.
It's also going to depend on how fast or how much power you're trying to put to it. I mean, if you're talking like a forklift engine or something, it would be fine.
We were talking about exactly, but we were talking equivalent horsepower. And two options, either putting a full electric power pack in there or putting an electric adapter to the transmission and leaving the powertrain the same. The cheapest route was 55,000 Canadian, and 25,000 of that went to the battery pack.
Yeah. See, where a good business will be in the future is adapting modern batteries to the older EVs. I think that'll be whoever comes up with a way to do that. That'll be huge.
And I wish Destroyer was still in here because he was showing me something about it. It's really interesting stuff. But they have a battery that runs on nuclear waste that recharges itself. It takes like 300 years to go bad, all this other stuff that they're not mass producing yet, but they plan to soon. That would probably be the way to go because not only are you getting rid of all that waste, and you're not having to mine and all this other stuff, but also you don't have to worry about charging the vehicles and range and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing is once we start getting stuff like thorium reactors going and whatnot, then it becomes a far more viable option.
Sure.
Because nuclear
we're not there. We're not anywhere close to that.
Nuclear is the cleanest. And it is also, I mean, despite what happened in Japan and a number of other places, it is one of the most safest ways of generating power as well. I'm not discarding wind and solar and everything else. I would love to minimize the footprint that we have, right?
Yeah.
But looking at the bigger picture of a practical sense, what is the most practical, easiest way to get power from whatever we're using to the tires on the ground to get from point A to point B? And the mistake I think that we're making as a whole, not just the three of us here and those in the chat, it's not going to be a single answer.
No, it won't be.
It's not.
Well, let's just look at the internal combustion engine, and if you actually measure the pollutants that come out of the modern internal combustion engines, it is significantly reduced to what it used to be, right? Like
For sure.
You almost got water coming out of your tailpipe nowadays.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't like the emissions that we had in the 70s and 80s and all that because it was junk, but you had to start somewhere. Now I don't know if they should have, just like they're trying to do with the EVs, make it a requirement that quick, but because you got a lot of junk out of that,
But the problem we have is here we're cutting out all our coal power and everything else, and look, we're going clean. Well, you got to remember, in North America, we already had scrubbers and everything else on our coal plants, and they put out very little pollution. So now what do? We sell our coal to China, and they don't have scrubbers and stuff, and they're just pumping it out, man. And it's just a diversionary tactic. That's what drives me nuts about all this is, yeah, we had stuff in place. We have clean air laws and everything else that you have to follow. And we had very efficient plants, for the most part, very clean burning. Like, I mean, you just have to look at London back in the 1800s and how polluted that city was from coal burning, right? And compared to now, you have no idea that we burned coal half the time out, especially in Canada.
Sure. So I'm just gonna hit up a couple things about 113.
Yeah.
Not about 113. I think he's an outstanding gentleman. He's got good taste in vehicles.
Deep in here, buddy. Getting deep in here. Oh boy.
So hydrogen cells are actually starting to come up. Now here's my background in the Air Force was chasing submarines and needing to know how their propulsion systems work. And the funny thing was, like, diesel submarines, that is, if you look at how a diesel submarine actually works, that's the Volt.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the hybrids, the plug-in hybrids. So the gasoline engine does not turn a single thing when it comes to the tires. It is simply a generator that powers the battery. The battery powers the motors. That is it. That is in its simplest form. Over the last few years, diesel submarines were working towards trying to develop longer time underwater to be able to go further, trying not to say things that I shouldn't say, but there was use of hydrogen or air independent propulsion where they didn't need to come up to the surface and basically regenerate stuff. A lot of this technology is actually starting to come into the forefront for vehicles. And this is not that of an uncommon thing where military advancements are now in the civilian sector. The main pushers for the hydrogen power pack actually came from Europe, from companies that were developing those type of propulsion systems, not just for subs, but also for military vehicles that didn't have a lot of access to diesel or fuel. So it's a very viable option. This, myself personally, seeing how it's advanced over the last few years and how quickly it's advanced because there's so much money already in the R&D side of the house, I think that is going to be one of the newest and easiest to implement power choices for vehicles is hydrogen cells and quick regen cells, which is going to be fantastic. It's safer, it's cleaner, and yes, hydrogen explodes. That's kind of the cool chemistry side of the whole house, but there's ways of mitigating that, and it's already been proven time and time again. With regards to natural gas vehicles. Anyone?
Our police force here in this city, our police force runs on natural gas.
Yeah.
We in Alberta, good luck finding a home that isn't powered with natural gas.
Exactly. Yeah.
In Eastern Canada, good luck finding one that is. It's going to be a very regionally based thing. And unfortunately, unless it's a small pilot program where it's readily available, I really strongly doubt you'll see any major manufacturer offering that up.
It's kind of the same thing here. Our local police force runs off of it, but we have the fuel stations here. But I don't think they can start traveling across the U.S. because there's just not there.
Here's the thing about that is now we're getting into the political aspect of things again, because there's no reason why this whole country could not run off our natural gas reserves. However, it would take pipelines, and the pipelines are the big no-no. They don't want to build them. They don't want to push them. They'd rather ship everything by boat and train for some reason.
Until you have another huge train disaster in a town, right?
Yeah. but it doesn't seem to matter. Like it's again, it's a political agenda from whatever group, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but
not the political side, but I think the tech side is really cool. You know,
the tech side's awesome. Yeah.
I love the idea of pushing technology and seeing what can come out of it. I think it'd be really great to see. Just looking at the motorcycle side of the house, I'll speak to what I know. The very first commercially available electric motorcycle was a complete and dismal failure. It was a combination of coming out well ahead of its time, specifically talking to people not understanding that there are no gears, that torque is instantaneous, and it is very hard to have a control unit that would be able to, pardon the phrase, but throttle back the input you're putting in so that you don't lose control of the vehicle, have an accident. And so immediately those vehicles were pulled off. Now you see kind of an adaptive means of a power pack putting power to a motor that is still connected to a gearbox, so you have those gears. So that's kind of going the old school way. Now the control units are all available to actually manage the input of what you're putting in, which is great. But that was something that took years to develop, and unfortunately lessons learned the hard way. Where electric motorcycles are going to come from, or go to, well, there's a really, really odd thing. If you're looking at scooters, electric scooters are commonplace in Europe, and they're commonplace in urban areas because very short distances, very short charge times for these things, which is great. But you won't be taking them down the countryside to go for a cruise on a Saturday afternoon and forgetting about all your stresses because they don't have the range. They don't have the speed to be able to go to highway speeds. So that's missing. Are you going to see manufacturers making that? I doubt it, because the market in North America, just the amount of money and R&D and what's going to have to go into the battery packs to make them smaller so you have that. And that
also,
range.
Is there a demand for that? Are enough people going to buy that?
There isn't.
Not here. Well, you got to remember, Europe's a very different market than we are. And people seem to be forgetting that in the political world, especially, is that Europe is tightly packed, large density, and you can support an electrical infrastructure there for vehicles. Here,
you can't copy and paste.
You cannot copy and paste. Good freaking luck. It ain't going to work. That's the whole point of me saying I'm going to take a Tesla from here to Vancouver. Or another example was, what would be economical taking a 67 Mustang from here to Arkansas, or taking a Tesla? I guarantee you the trip in the Tesla would have been a hell of a lot longer. And
because you would have had to stop, even with the fast chargers. And Tesla has one of the best fast chargers.
Yeah,
you'd have been at least 30 minutes per stop,
and it would have been more expensive.
Now,
it depends on what year Tesla you have, because if you're in the grandfather Tesla, you don't have to pay for the electricity. You don't have to pay for a charge. It's free. It's part of the vehicle. But that's I think that's 2012 and older. So.
Yeah, exactly.
In line with what Cement Surfer's saying, like even in Toronto or the GTA, the Greater Toronto area, Vancouver, it would work. It would work
the high speed rails and all that stuff too.
Most of the time, right?
Vancouver has a great mass transit system. It really does. Calgary has a crappy one. There's a very large difference between the two cities on like when I hate mass transit. I despise it. But when I went to Vancouver, I actually liked it. I enjoyed taking my ticket, getting on the ferry, getting on the bus, getting on the train. I could go anywhere in that city, no problem, and with the one ticket. In Calgary, it's a pain in the butt. Does not work well.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons and I live in the country, man. An EV is not something I want to be relying on out here. It's 30 minutes one way for me to get any place.
Yeah, so you definitely have some plans there. But
yeah, I'd have to really plan out my day very carefully. And if I want to go grocery shopping or something during that day, good luck. because currently I drive over 100 kilometers one way to work.
Well,
And
dancing, I'm gonna guess because I haven't been live in so long. Maybe, I don't know. That's weird. I appreciate you being here, bud.
yeah,
I mean, I really hope we find, a good mix. And I think that's going to be the route forward, is instead of just one single way of having something different to have.
I agree with that. I think a mix is where we need to go. We shouldn't have to rely on gasoline. We shouldn't let OPEC push us around.
No.
But
we shouldn't be.
We can't rely on just electric for sure.
Simplify. We shouldn't be
Not
letting
now,
OPEC and Venezuela push you guys around. We shouldn't be letting Russia push Europe around. There's no reason for it. None. We have the resources to support those ourselves and them. And we just don't do it because some political agenda of some sort. Now, you put a nickel in me, I guess.
Well, dancing, the easiest way to fix it is to get an EV. And Mongols will tell you all about that.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Here we go. But okay, tell you what, let's make electric airplanes and see how quickly people hop on those suckers. First of all,
I mean, I've seen some pretty powerful, especially the Canadians. You guys have some really big, powerful electric drones that carry really heavy stuff.
Yes, but try to make a commercial airliner that has the range that has the range using today's materials and still be able to carry the passengers. You might be able to get it to have the range, but it'll never carry passengers and luggage because it'll all be batteries.
I can't talk too much about it, even though it's the Canadian military. It's still some pretty secret squirrel stuff. They could do it. They could do it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But it's nowhere near ready for the public yet.
Us Canadians have been pretty crafty when it comes to aviation for a very long time.
I'll give you that. I didn't know that you guys were so far advanced as far as y'all's military, because you just don't hear about it. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I did with you guys in Afghanistan and even a short time in Iraq before y'all pulled out of there, I was like, wow, this is
I got the
longer
t-shirt.
than I thought it would be.
I will caution you though, before you give us too many praises, and not that I'm leaving anger or anything like that.
Sure.
We, in certain areas, especially with R&D, we're really good.
Yes.
With procurement and modernizing, we are shit.
Yeah, we're real bad.
If you want an example of how not to do things, just look up at us. That is all I'm going to say about that.
There.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe
we take some of the good things y'all do and some of the things we don't want to do. Yeah, I get it.
You're lucky our Navy's still not coal powered, man. Like I think we progressed off of that. What, maybe 5 years ago? Piston?
7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah, we finally got rid of the last coal powered one.
So, should we do a EV swap instead of a Hemi swap?
Hey, I'd be down for that. You got the money for it.
Well, my cheap ass will be thinking about, I know where I can get a Geo for pretty much free. A little 3-cylinder Geo that the engine's bad in. Transmission, little 5-speed, still good though.
Yeah.
I think it's a 4-speed actually. But anyway, we could mount that to a forklift engine because it's already a Geo. It's going to go slow. Yeah. And then figure out some kind of battery system. I think that might be fun.
I think we could do that.
For something like that. Now, I'm not thinking a big, fast race.
You know what? All we have to do is
get you guys. Like, there's a huge market for people that have written off EVs.
Yeah. You know
because the battery packs go like that.
Yeah. We can just take the alternator off the Hemi.
Yeah.
And use that to power the
maybe so.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work.
I mean, the car's pretty small. I've heard of people making go-karts run off alternator, like using it as an engine instead of a charger.
I'm working on it right now, actually. I am working on converting an alternator to a motor just to test it out.
Hey.
It's a project that I've started doing with my son because I want him to.
I was going to say, you've got so much stuff going on, but I guess if you're going to do it for your son, you'll make time for it. So.
Yeah. So
now I think a Hemi swap is what I really want to do next. Let's do a motorcycle powered car.
Okay, I've got a guy who's a flight engineer up here, and he built a classic Mini, and it is a motorcycle engine that's powering that sucker. The entire front end, gearbox, everything he made himself, and wow, does that thing fly! It is wicked, absolutely wicked.
Well, you remember that people used to put the Hayabusa engines in the smart cars, right? Those things were insane.
Yeah, I guess it's me and 113 talking about the other day, or somebody was. I think it was him. It's a motorcycle thing, so I'm sure it was him. But yeah, I'll give you exactly, Midnight. I think that's everybody's issue with it.
Yeah,
maybe not Mongrels. He has more issue with it, but no, I personally I think they're cool, and I think they are the way of the future, but not alone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of food for thought here. The other day, I was given a book by somebody that was published in 1913, and it is The Automobile, a beginner's guide to automobiles, for example. That's the basic premise of the book, but it describes 3 different types of vehicles: steam powered, electric, and gas. And removing the steam powered, but the electric and gas, the arguments that we're talking about today are almost verbatim from a book over 100 years ago, the pros and cons. And it is unbelievable. I'm sitting there and I'm reading this book, and I couldn't believe that the pros of electric are the same pros as today. The cons of electric are the exact same cons: range, the ability to find stations to charge the vehicles, the cold weather issue that they have, especially in northern climates, and then the gas, the pros and cons. And it is like nothing has changed since 1913. It's unreal. The only thing that's changed, we don't have steam-powered cars anymore. That's it.
And we could figure out how to make a efficient steam-powered car.
Hydrogen. Hydrogen's the answer to all of it.
Well, just think, if we're looking at it right now, the cusp of the electric coming back, because it was a lot more popular back then. In 1913, it said about 30% of all vehicles were electric powered. 10% were steam, and the rest at that point were all gasoline powered, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying this is a future problem. I'm just optimistic in that we today have a lot more available to us for power generation than was available back then. We talked about hydrogen, nuclear. Now imagine in 100 years.
That you if you think about just the amount of information that you can get now. But then also you add in all the other stuff that is available now that wasn't back then. I mean, it's
and the ability to share the information, right?
Sure.
And now fast forward, I think in 20 years we're going to make more progress with technology than they would have made in the last 100 years. Just the way that things are, the availability to advance technology. 20 years from now, our conversation we're having tonight is probably going to be a moot conversation. There's going to be options that are probably going to be out there we haven't even considered talking about or haven't even read about somewhere.
It's very possible, but I'm still a fan of history repeats itself.
Yeah, sure. I will. If the electric motorcycle works and it is that retro futuristic look and I'm happy with it, then the next one I'll make just for you, Mongrel, will be a steam powered motorcycle.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll probably get some views.
Yeah, Rich, steam is a volume issue, but it was cool. There was some neat stuff out there, man. That the boilers exploding and stuff like that tended to cause issues, but
if I burn my you-know-what because of steam power, I'm sending you the medical bill.
Send it to the Canadian government. It's all good.
Hey, with the steam powered vehicle, the steam that lets off, you can even make your fancy coffee with the steam milk and all that.
There you go. That would be great on car shows, you know. Take that to the car show to do.
Midnight, I try to watch all your shorts, man. I didn't remember seeing that one. I have to go back through. You have a lot of shorts, which is cool, but
there it is.
Oh.
I'd like to show you the French press for the TRW. converted an old fire extinguisher, and it's going to go on the side of the bike because I don't go anywhere without coffee.
Yeah. You know what that looks like? It looks like a grease gun.
It kind of does. Yeah.
Looks like an old grease gun.
Yeah, it does actually. It really, really does.
Well, guys,
especially the way.
I think I'm gonna sign off for the night.
Yeah, I was
great
just
seeing you
thinking
again.
that we're hitting 3 hours now, so it's probably about time to, call her a night.
It was great, man. It was great to have the gang back together and chat. And
well, I know Saturday, Wasted's going to do a live on his channel. So if you guys can make it there for that, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And yeah, you guys got anything coming up y'all want to shout out to the 13 people watching?
I'm just gonna keep pumping out videos, man. Shorts, long, doesn't matter. I'm just trying to build subs now. So that's I'm gonna be working on the Hemi content a lot more. Seems people want to see more of that.
Nice.
So, but thank you all in the chat. You guys are awesome as always. It's great watching the conversations go by, and thank you to everyone on the panel too. Like, fantastic. Missed this. It's great.
Yeah,
man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Piston, you got anything you want to put out?
It's great hanging out with everybody again. I missed this, and it's good to be back. And yeah, thanks everybody. It's been a very great reminder of why I enjoyed this as much as I did. You're all fantastic, and pretty happy to be here. Yeah.
Dancing.
There you go. So hope to see all you guys on Saturday on Wasted's channel. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all coming on. And yeah, glad to see man, it helped you out. I'm glad y'all came on and chatted with me, guys. I appreciate it. We'll go ahead and end this live real quick. See everyone later.